And welcome back to this presentation of Frederick Keys Baseball here on the Frederick Keys Baseball Network, as we are just about set now for baseball here in Frederick. And for those of you who are just joining us on the Masson side of things, we thank you so much for joining us, as for the first time ever, the Frederick Keys are on Masson. Gus Balo and Rowan Raffelli here with you tonight, as we now give you the Roy Rogers starting lineup for the visiting Brooklyn Cyclones. Leading things off will be Jonathan Henriquez, then John Bay batting second, Corey Collins bats third, Diverson Gutierrez bats cleanup, Jamari Baylor bats fifth, Yohairo Cuevas batting sixth, Colin Houck bats seventh, Trace Woolhoit batting in the 8th spot, Sam Biller rounds out of the 9th spot for the Cyclones. And again on the mound will be Jose Trinos. For the Keys, it's the right-hander Yeber Cartaya, the right-hander who comes by way of Caracas, Venezuela, part of the international free agent signing class on May the 5th of 2022. He finished during that time for Cartaya so far on the year an ERA of 2.29, but the ERA at home at a 0.80 mark. And partner, he certainly knows what it's like to pitch in these big-time moments here at Nimio Field.
Yeah, Cartaya, the first starter to pitch in the second half after the Keys clinched the first half title, and it was a great one. That Friday night here in Frederick, he was fantastic, able to get the Keys their first win of the second half, and now looking to give him another win here, get them back to 500 in half number 2 and their first win on the week.
For the umpires for tonight's game, call the balls and strikes will be Brendan Allman. On the base paths, Brandon Smith. As we're just about set for baseball here in the Key City. Again, for those of you who are just joining us on Masson, we thank you so much for making us a part of your night and for making history on the Keys Baseball Network. The first stop for a Fishy comes on down at 7:05 p.m. and it runs in for a count strike. We are underway. So 7:05 p.m. first pitch, as we are just about underway from Nimio Field at Harry Grove Stadium. The count is 0-1 to Jonathan Henriquez. Your game time temp as well at 96 degrees and sunny skies and humid. The 0-1 ground ball left side foul, and it's early 0-2 to Henriquez. Henriquez with a home run last night, finishing today 2 for 5 with a home run and a 2 RBI homer. One of the 5 home runs the Cyclones have hit, their highest total in nearly 14 months. The 0-2 home. Line into right field. That ball gets down in the corner for a base hit. Henriquez rounds first and will dig for 2. The throw in from right field is not in time. And Brooklyn picks up where they left off. It's a leadoff double for Jonathan Henriquez.
Make that a dozen doubles for Henriquez this season. A great way to start the ball game. Just saw a pitch he liked and roped it down that right field line.
So it brings up into the batter's box now John Bay, the center fielder, with 10 home runs and 35 RBIs. He's continued to be such a big-time force in that top part of the lineup. Got the day off yesterday. The big story for the Cyclones, no Mitch Voigt today. He is their number 5 overall ranked prospect and their first-round draft choice from last year for the New York Mets. First offer to John Bay. Runs a little high, ball 1. The Cyclones, the high A affiliate of the New York Mets. The Keys, of course, the newly high A affiliate of the Baltimore Orioles. Their first year back in Birdland since 2019. 1 ball, no strikes to the center fielder, John Bay. As Cartaya sets from the belt, kicks and fires. 1-0 offer is in for a count strike on a slider, 1-1. The jerseys, again, the Keys are wearing tonight are special military appreciation jerseys, which are designed, of course, saluting our veterans and the people who serve and have served our country. They'll be auctioned off tonight, benefiting Platoon 22, local charity here in Frederick. The 1-1 now to John Bay. Runs a little bit high, 2-1. He tried to go to that slider again, but it misses upstairs. It's now 2 balls and 1 strike to the center fielder, Bay. Two balls and 1 strike home as Cartaya sets in. From the belt, kicks and fires the 2-1. Fly ball in the air to left. That one heads out of play and foul down the line. And the count 2 balls and 2 strikes for Bay. Two balls and 2 strikes here to Bay. Cartaya getting the sign from his catcher in Yasmiel Bousse. He sets and fires now the 2-2. Outside, 3-2 to Bay.
Really nice at bat here from Bay. The guys in the top of the order always tasked with getting on base, get the offense started early, but you also want them to see some pitches, really force the pitcher to show your entire lineup what he's throwing, what it looks like today, and Bay and Enriquez both doing a good job of that.
3-2 now again to Bay as Cartaya sets and fires the payoff. Fastball is downstairs, ball 4. Just a little bit downstairs to Bay. And back-to-back runners reaching here for the Cyclones. Here's the DH, Corey Collins.
That's just the 30th walk for Cartaya so far this season. A guy who throws a lot of strikes but has struggled the last couple outings. That one on the road against Wilmington last week didn't quite have the command that he probably would typically say he has. And so far tonight, a good mix, but loses Bay there.
So certainly a nice start for the Cyclones offense, looking to attack Cartaya early. Corey Collins digs in, first offer. Line and foul straight back, 0-1. It's just out of play, straight back it goes in the count. No balls, a 1 strike to the DH, Corey Collins.
And Collins, no stranger to a walk as well, had 3 of them last night.
Cyclones as a team as well drew a total of 9 walks. They were combined 16 walks yesterday. And a couple hit by pitches as well. Cartaya sets, fires home the 0-1. Fly ball into shallow center. Skying high is Brian Severa in center field. He will track it down, make the catch. Enriquez heads on to third base. The throw into third is cut off. The throw to second is not in time. Both runners tag. And safe at second base is John Bay. Safe at third is Enriquez. It'll go down as a sacrifice, not officially a sac fly, but it is a sacrifice to move the runners to second and third. Here comes Diverson Gutierrez, the cleanup man.
That's a really heads-up base running play by John Bay at first. Typically, you don't see guys tag from first to second. It has to be a really bizarre kind of a diving catch in a corner, something like that. But he saw that Tavera was lined up to go to third base. That high throw gave him a ton of time, was able to take that 90 because if you're the Keys, you're willing to give up the runner second to third. You don't want to give up your runner first to second. That eliminates a realistic double play, but John Bay's heads-up base running does that.
Now it's 1 out for Diverson Gutierrez. He chops it foul left side, 0-1. Gutierrez got the day off last night. Tonight it's Ronald Hernandez getting the day off for the Cyclones. One of the 2 catchers on their roster, Diverson Gutierrez and Ronald Hernandez. Gutierrez on the year batting at 189, 4 home runs and 24 RBIs. And the infield for Frederick plays in at all the corners. Cartaya sets, delivers home the 0-1. In the air, left side, but it pulls foul into the berm areas down that left field side. For those of you who may not be as familiar with the additions here at Nimio Field, as it looks like Gutierrez will get another bat, there are new berm areas placed along the first and third base lines. Back in the old Nimio Field, it was you could say, grassy knoll area down that right field line that had a carousel in it. But that has since been changed. The carousel is no longer available, I should say. And then you have, of course, those berm areas, which are great space for young kids to hang out. A lot of times fans will try to get autographs as the players get off the field, reaching over those berm areas. No balls and 2 strikes to Diverson Gutierrez as Cartaya gets set from the belts. Out of the stretch he goes with runners on second and third, and now Gutierrez calls time.
Yeah, last pitch, Cartaya went inside with an off-speed pitch. It hit him right on the handle. He shot it foul, but broke that bat. Now causes a pretty significant delay here. Wonder if Gutierrez maybe feels a little bit uncomfortable as he calls time there.
Cartaya getting set to fire home. Pitch number 14 of the inning. As he sets from the belt, delivers home the 0-2. It is downstairs, ball 1, just a little bit below the belt. The fastball that time topping out at 96 from Cartaya. One ball and 2 strikes here to Gutierrez, native by way of Santa Teresa del Valle in Venezuela. A part of an international free agent signing class for the Mets back in 2023. 1-2 to Gutierrez. Got him swinging, strike 3. The slider gets him out, and it's the first strikeout for Yeber Cartaya of the evening.
That's a huge strikeout there, number 66 on the season for Cartaya. He had Gutierrez way out in front. He was probably a second early on that pitch. Now you have an opportunity to get out of the inning with no trouble. To leave 2 runners in scoring position after they got there with just 1 out would be a huge way to build some momentum early in this game and get your bats out there.
Quick mound visit by the first-year Keys pitching coach, Shorty Henry, to talk things over with Cartaya. As for Yeber Cartaya, he only went 2/3 of an inning back on the 26th of June against the Wilmington Blue Rocks, a season low in innings pitched for Yeber. It was one of those outings where he allowed a couple walks and a couple base hits on his tab, but only allowed just 2 runs. And all things considered, kept his team in the game. They fell by a score of 8-6, but definitely a close game. Stepping in now is Jamari Baylor as we give you the Frederick defensive alignment. Vance Honeycutt's in left field, Brown Tavares in center, Alfredo Velasquez in right, Colin Yeaman at third, Viva Loy at short, Leandro Arias at second, Ike Irish at first, Yasmi Abuse doing the catching for Yeber Cartaya. It's 2 outs for the leading hitter in the lineup in Jamari Baylor, batting at .348 this year. The first offer he takes, runs in for a count strike. First time that Baylor has gone against Cartaya on the year. Jamari Baylor hasn't played a whole lot for the Cyclones. Playing on the year, just his 8th game, but his 8th first 23, and already has 2 homers and 6 RBIs, providing an immediate spark for this Brooklyn lineup. The 0-1. Fouls it off right side, 0-2.
Since that fly ball that put runners in second and third, Cartaya's done a great job getting ahead in the count. Back-to-back 0-2 counts, really going to his best stuff early in this one.
No balls and 2 strikes on the way as Cartaya again will set. It'll be now officially for him pitch number 17 or other 18 of this first. Cartaya sets, fires the 0-2 to Baylor. Ground ball left side, charging on it is Yeaman. He goes across the diamond to first. In time, they get out of the inning. Welcome back, folks, to this presentation of Frederick Keys Baseball here on the Frederick Keys Baseball Network, and also available tonight on Masson for the first time ever in Frederick Keys team history. Gus Balo and Rowan Raffelli, so glad to be here with you tonight. Stepping into the batter's box will be Leandro Arias as we now give you the Roy Rogers Frederick Keys starting lineup. Leandro Arias leads it off. Ike Irish, the second-ranked Orioles prospect, batting second. Fahivo Loy bats third. Yasmi Abuse batting cleanup. Vance Honeycutt bats fifth. Brown Tavares bats sixth. Colin Yeaman 7. Edwin Amparo 8th. Alfredo Velasquez 9. As the first out for swung on a missed for strike 1. It's the right-hander and Jose Chirinos who will get the start tonight for the Cyclones. The right-hander who so far this year has an ERA of 4.85 in 26 innings. As he chases one, does Arias 0-2 now as 2 fastballs blow by him. In the first outing that Chirinos had against the Keys on June the 9th, he had a season-high 10 strikeouts on his tab. 0-2. He gets one here to Arias on 3 pitches as the fastball gets in the chase. On 3 pitches, Arias is retired.
That's now the 5th time Arias and Chirinos have gone head-to-head, and now 4 of them have been strikeouts. Chirinos has had his number and has been a really good pitcher for this Cyclones squad so far this season. That's his 29th strikeout and now 26 and a third innings work.
So big strikeout on the board for Jose Chirinos. Ike Irish steps in. First out for his in for a strike. Ike Irish on the other side for the Keys has some success against Chirinos. Did have a home run back in that game on June the 9th, finishing with a total of 2 base hits in 2 meetings against him. The one off here is a deep fly in the right. That ball's got some carry. It's at the wall. It's off the top of the wall. Kiss it goodbye. Ike Irish can touch the ball as he gives the Keys a 1-0 lead here in the first.
And he talked about it. He had 2 hits against Chirinos last time they faced him. And he now has 2 home runs against him. 2 home runs as well as that single. That ball, no doubt, to right field. We're actually going to get Eduardo Nunez out of the dugout. It's tough to see right there. The part of the wall where it hit is yellow, right along the yellow top of the wall there. But you could hear it. It hit the wood rather than the pad. No doubter from Ike Irish, a guy who's just been so good. Named to the Futures game, his 11th home run of the season, and it gives the Keys an early lead.
Eduardo Nunez, manager of the Cyclones, is having a quick chat with the first base umpire, Brandon Smith, as he was getting an explanation on that home run because it went over the top of the wall. And due to the ground rules here at Nimio Field, it has to just go over that first level of the board. That's all it has to go over before it can be ruled as a homer. It is ruled as a home run, the 11th homer of the year for Ike Irish, and it brings up Fahivo Loy. First off for outside, ball 1. And the Keys getting an early lead here over Brooklyn and a good start on their side. 1 ball and no strikes here to Fahivo Loy as he fires, misses high, 2-0 as Chirinos, who we talked about just moments ago, had some struggles against Irish previously. We see why there with the home run. And it brings up the 5th-ranked prospect, Loy. 2-0. Swung on a miss, 2-1 for Fahivo Loy, a .264 hitter. 11 home runs and over 50 RBIs in his tab, 56 to be exact for Vahiva. This one fouled off, 2-2 I should say for him, 51 to be exact. Nonetheless, a late first-round draft choice along of Ike Irish in last year's MLB draft. The Golden Spikes winner from a year ago is Vahiva Aloy. Here's the 2-2. Got him swinging strike three. That time it was the sweeper pitch that gets him the chase. And it's 2 strikeouts in the bottom of the first for Chirinos. Here comes Yasmiel Bousset.
A fastball of Chirinos is right around 95. That sweeper there was at 80. Just such a difference. Really yanks the string out there. Had Aloy well ahead. That's part of what makes Chirinos so dangerous.
So it's 2 outs now for Yasmiel Bousset. First time this year he's been in the cleanup spot for Colin Woody's group. First offer outside. Defensively for the Cyclones, Sam Biller is in left, John Bay in center, Yohairo Cuevas in right. Jamari Baylor at third. Colin Houck at short, Jonathan Henriquez at second, Trace Woolhoyd at first, and doing the catching is Dimerson Gutierrez. One on first, swung on a miss, now 1-1 to Bousset. One ball and 1 strike here on the way to Yasmiel Bousset. As from the rocket fire, he delivers. Way outside, 2-1. 2 balls and 1 strike on the way for Bousset. In the on-deck circle is Vance Honeycutt, the pitch. A little bit high, 3-1 on the high fastball at 94 from Chirinos. It's now 3 balls and a strike.
A dangerous spot here for Bousset, a guy we talked about, has a lot of home runs lately, had one last night as well in a favorable count.
Now the 3-1 offer, upstairs, ball 4. Chirinos gives up a 5-pitch walk to Yasmiel Bousset, and Vance Honeycutt will step in for the Keys with 2 outs here at the bottom of the first. They're up by 1.
And for Chirinos, I don't think that's a bad strike, or a bad walk to give. You have 2 outs. Bousset, not a guy who's really a threat to steal, 0 for 1 on his season, and you get a now a right-on-right matchup. Really kind of utilize that sweeper if you're Chirinos against Honeycutt.
It brings up the 2024 first-round draft pick, Vance Honeycutt. First off for home. In the air, deep center field. John Bay looks up. That ball's got carry, but he makes the catch on the run, and that does retire the side. Welcome back, folks, to this presentation of Frederick Keys Baseball on Masson and on the Frederick Keys Baseball Network. Gus Balo, so glad to be here with you tonight. Alongside me is my partner, Roland Raffelli. We go into the top of the second. It's the Keys who lead it 1-0 after a solo homer from Ike Irish has given Frederick the early 1-0 lead as we head into the second inning here at Nimio Field. Yeber Kartai, who gave up a couple base runners in that first inning, but escaped the jam, leaving 2 men on base. And final faces Yohairo Cuevas, who takes the first pitch high, ball 1. One ball and no strikes on the way to Yohairo Cuevas as he takes it in for a strike on the changeup from Yeber. The count 1-1.
Really nice pitch there from Kartai. He falls behind 1-0 and then goes not to the fastball, but to that changeup, rides it on that outside third, working it towards the plate. That's a tough pitch to pick up from a left-handed batter.
On the offer, the 1-1 inside, 2-1. Yohairo Cuevas, who didn't have a homer for the first pretty much month of the season, has now homered in the last 3 games he's played, has 4 homers in total in the last 3 games. Count is 2-1 as Karataya sets and fires and a misses inside, 3-1. Yeber Karataya, who certainly has been at times, as we mentioned, one of their top prospects that has really been coming up as of late, and Baseball America has climbed into the top 30. The 3-1 offer, though, inside to Cuevas, and he'll draw a walk. Leadoff walk allowed by Yeber. His second walk given up. Here comes Colin Houck.
Nice at bat there from Cuevas, a guy who, you might see start to kind of force the issue with as hot as he is. He knows, I want to continue to do damage, continue to make those home run numbers climb, but really patient at the plate. They're not overeager, not trying to do too much with pitch out of the zone. Instead, just takes his way on base. A 4-for-4 base stealer, by the way.
He'll bring up into the dish the shortstop, Colin Houck. As on the line, he'll fire the first offer to Houck. Little check swing foul down the right side. And the count runs to 0-1. No balls and one strike on the way now to Colin Houck, the shortstop. 6 home runs and 26 RBIs. Cartaya sets the line and fires. It is in for a strike on the outside corner. The count 0-2.
Nice fastball in the outer third there. Nice reception by Bousset behind the plate as well. Framed it really well to get that call. A good spot. A pitch that's really easy to roll over from the right-hand batter.
No balls and 2 strikes on the way as Cartaya sets and delivers. Downstairs for ball 1 and it gets away by the catcher Yasmil Bousset. Taking off for second is Cuevas on the wild pitch.
Not a great spot for a wild pitch there. You really want to have the double play opportunity, but now with that runner at second base, it makes that much more difficult.
It just took a kind of a weird hop away from Yasmil Bousset. But nonetheless, it will put a runner on second for the Cyclones as they try to chip away this 1-0 deficit. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Cartaya getting the sign from his catcher Bousset on his 27th pitch of the inning, or the frame. 1-2 offers a chopper over to third, played by Yeaman. He'll go across the diamond, the throw in time. Colin Houck retired. Here comes Trace Wilhoit.
And on a ball like that, you might have seen the Keys try to go for a double play there. Unlikely with how far down the line that ball was hit. That's, a 90-foot throw from Yeaman there, and then another one to go across. You probably only get a fielder's choice there, but you still keep that runner at second base. Nice job from Yeaman on the hot corner to back him up to second base.
He does a really good job of finding that spot there for Colin Yeaman. He's been the primary third baseman for Frederick pretty much all year. Vahivo Loy, their primary shortstop. Now it's Trace Wilhoit, who had a grand slam last night, takes the first pitch inside, ball 1. Wilhoit last night finishing with a total of 5 RBIs, now up to 26 ribbies on the year, and up to 5 home runs, including a grand slam hit down the left field line. 1-0 to Wilhoit. That time it's in there for a strike, 1-1.
It was the Cyclones' second grand slam in just a few days. They had one on Saturday as well last week.
That's been part of the surging Cyclones roster. They have been playing their best baseball, you could argue, at the right time. Before the Wilmington sweep last week, where they lost all 6 games, they were winners of 11 of 14. Cartaya thought about going back to second, but he holds. Meanwhile, for the Keys, their month of May and June were some of the best in all the South Atlantic League. They finished the month of June with a record of 15-11, but the month of May, 19-6. Big part of how they were able to get to that first half title in the South Atlantic League. 1-1. Wilhoit lines it right side and foul, way out of play, and it puts the count at 1-2.
And you talked about what a great month of May it was, and what that allowed them to do was as the days got longer and they got a little bit hotter, they could afford to lose a couple more games because they had built such a big lead out there, and ultimately it came down to the last day, came down to the last couple of days where they had to play an extra game against Hub City, one that was rained out from early April. Just an impressive effort from the Keys last couple of months.
On the 1-2, it's a ground ball left side. In the hole it goes. Yeaman charges on it, throws to first in time. On his way down to third goes Cuevas. And it will bring up into the batter's box Sam Biller.
Another really nice play from Colin Yeaman there. That's a tough ball. Going that far to his left, has to change his momentum to throw back across the infield. And then also a nice read from Cuevas at second base. He saw that was going to pull Yeaman away from the bag and knew that he could beat Yeaman to the ball essentially and get to third base now 90 feet away, able to score on a wild pitch or a pass ball.
So it puts the pressure on the 9-hole batter, Sam Biller, who has just 6 RBIs of Brooklyn this year, but has been their primary batter in the 9th spot. First offer, he shows bunt, but takes it in for a strike right on the inside corner from Cartaya on a fastball, and it puts the count at 0-1.
And I don't blame Biller for pulling that bunt back. A 96 fastball coming right at you. That's a scary pitch and a scary spot to be in.
And Biller does have some speed in the base paths as well, so a wise decision to try to get on base with the bunt. The 0-1 this time, change up in there for a strike at the knees, 0-2. It's 0-2 to Sam Biller. In the on-deck circle is the top of the lineup, Jonathan Enriquez. Cyclones down 1, the Keys looking to hold the 1-0 lead. Cartaya sets, delivers home the 0-2. It is in there, strike 3 on a fastball. Welcome back, folks, to this presentation of Frederick Keys Baseball here on the Frederick Keys Baseball Network. Gus Bale and Roman Raffelli here with you on the Keys Baseball Network. Of course, tonight on Masson for the first time in team franchise history. Brian Tavera leads it off. The Keys leading it by 1 after they got 1 run on 1 base hit in the bottom of the first. A solo homer to right off the bat of Ike Irish. The first offer to Tavera. Outside, ball 1 from Jose Chirinos. It's 1-0 to Tavera, the center fielder. 7 home runs, 28 RBIs. Here's the 1-0. Taking it downstairs, now 2-0 for Tavera. Part of their international free agent signing class in 2022 out of Hato Mayor, Dominican Republic. 6'3", 175-pound right-handed bat. Here's the 2-0. All the way in for a strike, 2-1 as that sweeper pitch from Chirinos puts the count at 2-1.
Tavera, 251 average on the season, but in his last 5, just 125, a pair of hits. His last 16 at-bats, he did drive in 1.
This time with the 2-1 offer, it's a called strike 2 at the knees, 2-2 now. Chirinos setting again from the line. He'll set waist high. Now for the belt, delivers the 2-2. And it drops in there, strike 3. Fastball at 93, freezes up Tavera. 3rd strikeout of the day already for Chirinos.
And a guy who's really just starting to settle into a groove here. He gave up that Ike Irish home run, but then quickly struck out Vahiva Loy after that. Even that one in the past, it's really impressive as a pitcher, especially, a younger guy. It takes a lot of maturity to move on from big mistakes like that one, but 3 strikeouts already. He's in a good spot.
Brings up Colin Yeaman for his first time. He swings and misses on the first offer for a strike. Now, Colin Yeaman, who is ranked as their 27th prospect according to MLB Pipeline in the top 30s. The 0-1 comes, and it runs downstairs for a ball. Yeaman, certainly a guy who doesn't have a ton of power, certainly at least not this year, but defensively has been so consistent over the hot corner. 1-1. He lines it in the air, right field side. Giving it a look is Woolhoit, the first baseman, on foul ground. He runs out of room as it heads up into the right field hospitality area, which is another new area here at Nimio Field. That right field hospitality area is brand new at this ballpark, situated with all the new changes along with the new Coors Light chill deck down the left field line. The 1-2 offer here just a little bit outside. It's now 2-2.
Chirinos really going to that slider against righties here, trying to find it right on the outside corner. Pretty typical, but been a really good pitch so far.
The 2-2 to Yeaman. Swung on a miss. Back-to-back strikeouts for Jose Chirinos here in the second. And here comes Edwin Amparo.
That's part of what's made Chirinos so good. He's got that sweeper, but he's also got a changeup look like there that just the bottom kind of fell out as he got to the plate. Yeaman swings right over it quickly, 2 gone here in the second.
We mentioned earlier about Chirinos having a minor league career high, 10 strikeouts, tying that mark back on June the 9th. He's already got 4 today as Amparo lifts this one in the air to left center, and that gets down. Blinded by the sun there is Colin Houck as he sort of couldn't find the baseball with the way the sun is setting, was setting right in his eyes. And it allows a single for Amparo. Second base knock of the night for Frederick. Brings up the 9-hole batter, Alfredo Velasquez.
A pair of hits already for Amparo after he had a double last night since getting called up from Delmarva. Has been a really productive bat towards the bottom of the order. At that time, a hard line drive. It got in the eyes of Houck there. I think it's still over the glove should he, be able to track it. But now a little bit of movement here with 2 gone.
2 outs for Alfredo Velasquez, who's making his Keys debut for the first time since June the 13th. On the first offer, he goes for a strike. Throw it on a second is not in time. Edwin Amparo gets a stolen base as he slides in safely. He had a few stolen bags during his time with Single A Delmarva. He gets on to second here. And the Keys have a runner on second with 2 outs for Velasquez.
And for Amparo, he was 18 of 25 at Single A this season. Now 1 for 1 here with the Keys.
Here's the 0-1. Velasquez chases one high on a fastball at 96. The count 0-2. He had 4 RBIs, did Alfredo Velasquez, during his time at Frederick before moving back up to Double-A Chesapeake. Has been floating around between Delmarva, Chesapeake, and Frederick throughout the year. 0-2 here. Downstairs, ball 1. It's fastball at 93. One ball and 2 strikes on the way with 2 outs. From the belt, he'll set. Will Chirinos as he fires. Fouls it off straight back right on top of the Mattress Warehouse Club behind home plate. And the count stays at 1-2. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Alfredo Velasquez. The Keys leading at 1-0, looking to add to it right here. The 1-2 home. Chopped foul, just getting a piece of it on that sweeper pitch at 79 miles an hour from Jose. Count stays at 1-2.
Velasquez getting an early piece of that one could be an early sign of success here for the Keys, slowly starting to pick up that sweeper and able to just get a piece. You know, you don't have to hit that ball super hard or into fair territory. You just need to spoil it, force Chirinos to go back to either the changeup or the fastball.
1-2 again. In the air, shallow center field, long run for John Bay. He won't get there. On his way home from third, and coming home is Edwin Amparo, and Alfredo Velasquez gets an RBI single to make it 2-0 Keys.
That's part of what we talked about in the pregame show here. The Keys don't need to go out and search for, 10 extra base hits, 5 of which home runs tonight to get back in the win column. They just need to go back to playing consistent offense, hitting the ball, putting it in play, and establishing it early. That's what they did with the Irish home run. And now the bottom of the order, a pair of singles with 2 outs to score a run. That's just really good small ball team-style baseball.
And it brings up a quick mound visit from the catcher, Diverson Gutierrez. As Gutierrez will step in and talk things over with Jose Chirinos. So the Keys with 1 run in the first and 1 run in the second. A big part of emphasis going into Game 3 today was the early offense. As in the first 2 games of the series, they did get the 1 run in the second last night, but didn't score again till the 8th. Already now 2 runs on 3 base hits, and Leandro Arias up for his second time. Arias on the day is 0 for 1 against Chirinos after striking out in the first. First offer comes on the way home. Drops in for a strike on a fastball, 0-1. On the count. From the belt, he'll set Will Chirinos out of the stretch. Goes back over to first, and nearly a wild throw that would have moved Velasquez to second, but it's stopped by the first baseman. Will hoist the throw officially not in time.
And Velasquez actually kind of trapped that ball, kept it from going to right. As he dove back, it kind of caught between the dirt and his chest as he rolled over it back to the bag.
It's 0-1 here to Leandro Arias. Chirinos from the belt. Hesitates for a moment. A long wait, now fires. There goes Velasquez. It's a chopper right side. Long run as it gets behind Henriquez at second. A wild hop that one took as the throw now goes away from third base. Velasquez will try to score. He will score. The Keys lead 3-0. It was a high chopper over the second baseman's glove, and Jonathan Henriquez going into second was Arias on the wild throw in right. And it's an error for the Cyclones. It gets the Keys a third run. It's 3-0.
And that'll go as a single, and then the error there. Tough for the Cyclones defense. You really just got to cut your losses there. You recognize you have 2 outs, first and second. Not a terrible situation to be on. Just a tough play to the right side of the infield, but then throwing it past the third base bag allows that run to score. Not an ideal spot, especially not a good one for your starter in Chirinos, who hasn't pitched poorly to begin this outing.
Just a quick mound visit from the pitching coach in Luis Alvarado. As the Cyclones down by 3, the largest deficit they have had this entire series thus far. 2 outs in the inning as he'll bring up into the batter's box in Ike Irish, who already has a home run today. That came back in the first. A solo homer just over the right field wall, his 11th bomb of the year and his 44th RBI. You mentioned it just moments ago. Ike Irish participating in the MLB All-Star Futures Game on July the 12th in Citizens Bank Park, home of the Philadelphia Phillies. 2 outs for Irish. First out for home outside, 1-0. One ball and no strikes here to Irish. Runner on second remains Leandro Arias. The 1-0. Called strike, 1-1. He'll not go down as an RBI for Arias due to the error, as the error allowed Velasquez to score. But last 3 now have reached with 2 outs against Chirinos. 1-1. Called strike 2 at 1-2 now, I should say, with 2 gone for Irish.
And a similar streak to what we saw last night for the Cyclones against the Keys. Keys had 2 outs in the 5th before 5 consecutive reached, including the grand slam by Trace Wilhoit.
1 ball, 2 strikes, the offer. Sky-high pop-up into the infield. Iverson Gutierrez tosses his mask away. Now eventually has it drop. Is it fair? They're going to say, I believe, a foul ball. They call it a foul ball as it went just to the right of the line of foul territory. So RS will head back to second with 2 outs. Of course, the infield fly rule not in effect. So Irish will, instead of a 1-2 count, as it was just a weird sky-high pop-up, went right between Gutierrez, the catcher, and then Will Hoyt, the first baseman.
A lot of spin on it. It looked like it was going to be more towards the second base kind of region, but just stayed around home plate. And a really tough one. It just hit straight up. Gutierrez couldn't quite get a good read on it.
Now it's 1-2, the count to Irish. Here's the offer. A little bit outside. He tried to get him on the high fastball, but it puts the count even at 2-2. Deuces wild on the bottom of the second.
We even almost had a collision between Irish and Will Hoyt. Both were kind of looking up at the ball towards that first base line, but fortunately those two able to avoid each other.
Torino sets. Here's the 2-2. Scott him swinging strike 3, and that ends the inning. Both the Keys get 2 runs in the inning. We go to the third. Welcome back, folks, to this presentation of Frederick Keys Baseball right here on the Frederick Keys Baseball Network and on Masson. Gus Balo and Rowan Raffelli, so glad to be here with you tonight. As we move into now officially this top of the third inning, it's a 3-0 lead for the Frederick Keys after they got 2 runs in that bottom of the second, courtesy of an RBI single from Alfredo Velasquez and an error that brought home Alfredo all the way from first base. Yeber Cartaya back out for a third inning. The first offer swung on a miss to the leadoff man, Jonathan Henriquez. And the count runs to 0-1.
Henriquez last time up probably had one of the hardest hit baseballs of the ballgame so far. A leadoff double to begin the ballgame, but thanks to some nice pitching from Cartaya, was able to escape the inning without giving up a run.
On the 0-1 offer, outside it goes, 1-1. Cartaya has allowed a couple walks, but has escaped 2 jams in the early going. And now at this point, you're certainly hoping that if you can get him through first few innings here tonight before going to your bullpen late. 1-1 in the air, but foul, 1-2. Three 0 Keys lead here in the top of the third on this Thursday night in the city of Frederick, located about 50 minutes back from Camden Yards. The 1-2. Breaking ball a little bit away, 2-2.
Really nice take there from Henriquez, that off-speed pitch on the outside corner. Not a pitch you can really do a lot with, but a really tempting swing.
2 balls and 2 strikes. Cartaya sets and fires. Fly ball shallow center. Trying to find it in the sun is Tavera. He won't get it. It drops in for a single. And a leadoff base runner as Henriquez now with both base hits tonight for the Cyclones. He gets aboard, and here comes John Bay.
A tough play there from Tavera. He just really couldn't find it in the sun. It's still about, probably about 45 minutes from being fully set over the wall, and there's just a divide, a box of shade on the field right now. Tavera unable to find it. Even when it hit the ground, he still couldn't quite locate it. Actually had the shortstop with Lloyd chasing all the way out to help him with it.
There's no question about that. They certainly love the way that he continues to get on base there in Henriquez. First offer here to John Bay. This one swung and a miss for a strike. The throw to second base will not be in time. Stolen base. Stolen base there for Henriquez as, hold on a minute.
Yeah, they call it batter's interference.
Wow, batter's interference is what they'll call, so that's an out on the board. John Bay will be called out on the batter's interference. Good catch there, partner, as I didn't actually see that first call there, but a late call by the umpires called batter's interference. So that is not a stolen base, and it's an out charged to John Bay.
And on his follow-through, he came all the way around, actually hit, I believe, the glove arm of Bousset, kind of knocked him off and pushed that throw a little bit towards the shortstop. That's a huge play for the Keys.
So now it's 1 out for Corey Collins. First offer downstairs for ball 1. So again, take away the stolen base for Henriquez. It'll be batter's interference that John Bay is retired on. And he'll be now 0 for 1 of the night. It rings up Corey Collins, flying out to center his first time up. Cartaya sets from the belt. Fires back over to first as Ike Irish giving a tag down to Henriquez, but the throw there not in time. One ball and no strikes on the way to Collins. Cartaya sets from the belt. Kicks and deals. In the air, left side foul, 1-1. Yaber Cartaya, who pitched a little bit last year in the high A ranks. He pitched 19 games for Delmarva and then finished up the year in Aberdeen with 20 innings pitched, finished with 21 strikeouts and 15 walks in his first year in the high A ranks. 1-1, 1 strike on the way to Collins. The pitch. Called strike inside, 1-2, right on the inside corner to Corey Collins.
A lot of times you see pitchers work high and low. A lot of times you also see them work east and west, each side of the plate. Cartaya, definitely one of those guys. Loves to go in on the hands or well outside with that fastball. Is really good locating on both edges, and it's an aggressive approach here.
There's the 1-2 runner takes off, but it's popped in the air left side. It'll head into the seats and out of play. Good amount of fans making the trek here tonight to Nimio Field, despite the temperatures still, as of right now, at 93 degrees. It's been in the upper 90s, close to 100 degrees heading into today. High temps expected well into the July 4th holiday. It's expected to cool off heading into next week. Of course, the Keys will be home against the Jersey Shore Blue Claws, high A affiliate of the Phillies next week. 1-2 here. In the air, right center field. Arias with a long run. He won't get there as it drops in the Bermuda Triangle. A bloop single in the shallow right puts runners on first and second. And the Cyclones making some noise here in the third. Here's Diverson Gutierrez.
A really simple piece of hitting there from Collins. Jammed in there, but he shoots a flare into right center field, right in that no man's land between Arias, Velasquez, and Tavares. Able to continue to move the line. Now with a really unfortunate 1 out, but for the Keys, you still have an opportunity for double play, whether that's to third base, second base, or first base.
So that'll bring up into the batter's box, as you mentioned, Diverson Gutierrez. 2 runners on and 1 out. As Cartaya once again will have to work out some trouble here in this third. The first offer to Gutierrez, a little bit inside, 1-0. And a quick mound visit called by Yasmiel Buse. It goes to show you how big that batter's interference was, because if that is not called, you would have potentially an RBI single or at the worst, the bases loaded and nobody out. Instead, you could still find a way to get out of the inning with a double play, as Buse talking things over with his starting pitcher in Yaber Cartaya.
And Cartaya has worked out of jams in really each of the last 2 innings, had a runner on third in both the first and second innings there. And I absolutely think that single is an RBI single, with Enriquez having, stolen second base before the batter's interference. He, without a doubt, comes across the score on just a short flare into right center field where none of those guys could really make an accurate and hard throw home.
1 ball, no strikes down to Gutierrez. He sets and fires the offer. Outside, 2-0 on pitch 47 of the night for Yaber Cartaya. So far for him, 47 pitches, 31 have been strikes for the right-hander. Signed back on May the 5th, 2022 was Yaber Cartaya. 2-0 the count. Cartaya delivers. Right field side, it's a fly ball. Going in is Velasquez a long way. He will make the catch and foul ground. On the runner down to third is Enriquez. The throw to third base is close. They don't get him. I'll tell you what, though, that was a close play in right field. Alfredo Velasquez fired a rifle down to right. It looked like he got under the tag, but it was a close play. Nonetheless, it was also a late jump by Enriquez to third. But how about the throw in right field from Alfredo Velasquez?
That's probably every bit of a 300-foot throw after colliding with the wall, nonetheless, and it was really close at third base. That's a heck of a throw, and also just a great play, obviously, to have the awareness. You're moving through 3 different stadiums as Velasquez from single A, high A, and double A. He has the awareness of still making that catch, maybe a willingness to sacrifice the body to make that play. That's a huge second out.
A big second out brings up the all-dangerous Jamari Baylor. First offer he takes is downstairs. So it puts runners out in the corners. Enriquez now sits at third. On second base, or first base rather, I should say, is Corey Collins. Baylor on the night, 0 for 1 after grounding out to third his first time up. As Cartaya looking to get out of some more trouble here in this third inning. 1 ball, no strikes on the way to Baylor. As Cartaya from the belt delivers. Outside, 2-0, and a good block there from Buse to keep that one in front. 2 balls and no strikes for Baylor. It's 2-0 on the way. Cartaya Waiting patiently now as the pitch clock winds down. He delivers. Outside 3-0. Another good block there from Bousse and a fastball at 95. And it puts the count at now 3-0. In the on-deck circle is Yohairo Cuevas, who, of course, has homered in his last 3 games and has 4 homers in the last 3 games. He waits on deck. And potentially the bases loaded scenario. Will Baylor get the green light here in those 3-0? Here's the offer. He gets the green light and lifts into the air to right. Going back is Velasquez, but he should have room. He's got it to end the inning. They'll leave 2 runners on as we move into the bottom of the third. 3-0 Keys right here on Master of the Keys Baseball Network. Back here now for the bottom of the third inning for this presentation of Frederick Keys Baseball on the Frederick Keys Baseball Network, and also available tonight on Masson for the first time ever in franchise history. Gus Balo and Rowan Raffaelli here with you. As we move into this bottom of the third inning, it's Vahivo Lloyd to lead things off. Keys lead it by 3. Cyclones have left 4 runners on base, but the Keys have got out of the jam since Gartaya's done his job. Eloy skies the first pitch in the air, right center field. Has some carry to it as John Bay, and eventually he drops it in the air to right center. Eloy's going to round second and head on for third base, and he'll get in there on a slide, or rather no slide, as John Bay lost sight of it in the sun in right center field. It'll go down more than likely as an E9 on John Bay, a rare miss for Bay. And the Keys have a runner on third with no one out in the bottom of the third inning.
And similar to what we talked about with Tavera for the Keys in center field, they're still in, probably now 2/3 shade and 1/3 sun, but running in and out of that, it's so tough on the eyes. You just, everything changes, plus looking dead at the sun with how that fly ball was hit. That's a tough play, and fortunate for the Keys, able to hopefully capitalize here in the bottom of the third.
Here comes Yasmin Bousse, who lines it down the right side and foul, 0-1. Now, they actually called it a triple on the play. It's the 4th triple for Eloy. The reason for that is because it was hit into right center field. It wasn't a routine play for John Bay, who just, again, lost it in the sun and then eventually dropped it. So, he should have caught it. And, of course, John Bay was the first one to tell you that he should have made the play. But it is a triple because it was not an ordinary play out there in right center. Nonetheless, it puts a runner on third. The 0-1 Bousse inside. And it puts the count at 1-1 strike.
And a really long throw for Bay. Obviously didn't get the greatest hop because I don't think he saw it off the bat. But then, like you said, by no means routine play. A really tough ball to get to.
1-1 to Bousse. Swung on a miss, 1-2. Bousse tonight so far is 0 for 0 after walking in the first. Eventually, though, was left down on base. On the way, the 1-2. Got him swinging, strike 3. Make it 6 Ks for Chirinos in 2 1/3 innings. First out of the bottom of the third brings up Vance Honeycutt.
Within his at-bat there from Chirinos, he's going to need a couple more here to leave that runner at third. But went to the changeup a couple of times there. Not the sweeper. I think Bousse might have been sitting on that sweeper. He was back in the stance, but didn't see that spin, and strikes out swinging.
He'll strike out swinging, but it brings up Vance Honeycutt. The infield still playing in all the corners. As the first out of Vance, downstairs for ball 1. Vance Honeycutt, the 2024 first-round draft choice by the Orioles, out of the University of North Carolina. Still ranked as a top 30 prospect for Baltimore. 1-0. Well inside, 2-0. Nearly grazing the military appreciation jersey. But it puts the count at 2 balls and no strikes. On the way, he'll set for the ball. Fires home the 2-0. Called strike 2-1 right upstairs. It's down 2 balls and a strike here to Vance. Two balls and 1 strike on the way. As he'll come set and fire, and it's in the air to left, and it drops. RBI single for Vance Honeycutt will bring home another run for Frederick. It's 4-0 Keys in the bottom of the third.
That's the gamble you take when you bring the infield in. That's probably a liner right into the chest of Colin Houck at short, but because the infield's in well over his head, a nice job done by Honeycutt there. You're not being asked to hit a home run to drive in that run from third. You just need to put a ball hard in play. That's exactly what he does. He gets the Keys. Now their 4th run in 3 innings.
They get a 4th run off of Jose Chirinos. with 3 of the 4 runs being earned thus far. And here goes Honeycutt, the first offer, swing and a miss for a strike, throw to second base, not in time. And Vance Honeycutt gets his 23rd stole bag of the year.
Not just a golf course, it's a signature experience.
So make it now on his tab. 23 stolen bases. He ties Ellis Cuevas for the team lead in stole bags. Now 23 of 26 is Honeycutt. No balls and a strike. Here's the offer. In the air, right side foul, and Tavera finds himself down to the count, 0-2.
Honeycutt can fly. There's no question about that, whether he's in the outfield or on the pads, but he's also got a lot of power in the bat. I think he's a really good example of just kind of the modern top prospect guy. A lot of times in the past, you had power hitters and you had speedy guys, but now with kind of modern players like Honeycutt, like some of the younger names in the MLB, they can do both.
No balls and 2 strikes now for Brow and Tavera, as time is called by the catcher Gutierrez. So despite 6 strikeouts for Jose Chirinos, Keys have gotten 3 earned runs off him, which is the 3rd highest he's allowed this year. The most he's allowed in a game was 5 earned runs and a 6-5 win against Jersey Shore, as Tavera chases an 0-2 downstairs, and he'll strike out for the 2nd time. 7 Ks now for Chirinos. Here's Colin Yeaman.
He's doing a nice job of kind of battling through some traffic, through a couple of really hard-hit baseballs, and just continuing to stick to his stuff. The sweeper, like we've talked about, is so good. He's able to command the zone, get ahead early with the fastball, and then go to that sweeper. He's thrown a couple of them back-to-back, just saying, I'm going to keep going at it. Eventually, they're going to bite on one of them. That time, he does get Tavera to go down.
Now brings up Colin Yeaman with the runner on second. First offer. Drops in for a strike, and it's 0-1 that time of the changeup from the starter in Chirinos. Again, a 4-pitch mix on his repertoire. Fastball, sweeper, a changeup, and a cutter. 0-1 now to Colin Yeaman. Here's the offer. Downstairs for ball 1. Colin Yeaman, a sort of glue guy in the order, you could argue, for Frederick, especially the way he plays defensively. And when he's had some big moments, he certainly has come in the clutch again, especially with his defense. Very athletic. 3rd baseman is Colin Yeaman, who was drafted back in the 4th round of last year's draft out of UC Irvine, one of the top players for the Anteaters last year. 1-1. Inside, 2-1 to Colin Yeaman.
That's not a mascot you see every day, the Anteaters, but I think that's a great one. I think that's a really unique, fun, different mascot.
A long-standing tradition are the UC Irvine Anteaters. 2-1 the count to Yeaman. Fly ball in the air, right center field. It will send Bay back. He looks up at the wall, and that ball eventually caught by the right fielder, Yohairo Cuevas, to end the inning. For the 4th inning we go. It's the Keys who lead at a 4-0 advantage over the Brooklyn Cyclones. Your score after 3 innings of play, the Keys 4 runs on 6 base hits. It's the Cyclones no runs on 3 base hits. They've also committed 1 error. They'll take you through innings 4, 5, and 6 here at Nimio Field. Here is our broadcast intern, Roman Raffelli.
And thank you, Gus. 4th inning, the Keys a 4-0 lead. Eber Cartaya back on the mound, has given up some early traffic, but no runs so far. He's left 5 aboard through the first 3 frames. We'll have maybe one of the hottest bats in the South Atlantic League in Yohairo Cuevas, who he delivers a first pitch strike to, went to the off-speed pitch, got it to land. Cuevas walked, made it to 3rd base back in the 2nd inning, but was left there. Cartaya's 0-1 wind is a high drive into shallow right field. Velasquez coming on, has it tracked, and he makes the catch for the first out of the inning.
Big first out to get for Yeber Cartaya, who, again, despite the Cyclones getting a lot of traffic on the base maps, he's been able to get out of these jams. That's been so important for him in these first 3 innings. Cyclones have already left 4 runners on base, but he's gotten the time of the outs when he's needed to, allowing for some soft contact. Also, the first time that they have not got the leadoff man aboard as well.
Now Colin Houck digs in, bounced out to the 3rd baseman Yeaman in the 2nd inning. He takes a first pitch ball just inside. Cartaya back to the off speed, 2nd consecutive first pitch breaker. Cartaya 55 pitches into the outing, 35 of them for strikes. He lifts, delivers here. The 1-0 is out in on the outer 3rd for a strike. Now 1-1 the count. Houck gives a brief shake of the head. Did not Probably agree with that call. Cartaya from the belt, delivers home. A swing and a miss, high off-speed pitch, breaking low, now 1-2 the count.
Yeah, really nice off-speed from Yeber Cartaya. And that's really been something that he's continued to develop, that changeup and really the slider on his arsenal and the curveball.
1-2 well outside, 2-2. Houck on the year has 107 strikeouts, as well as 50 hits. The righty Cartaya begins his wind, delivers home. Soft flare to second base, and just in front of the second baseman Arias, he'll wait for it, throw it over to Irish in time for the out quickly. 2 gone here in the 4th.
That was sort of a weird play for Arias to try to grab, as it was a broken bat play as well for Colin Houck, as that bat now into the history books, but a good chopper nonetheless that gets 2 quick outs for Yeber Cartaya, as his pitch count still in a relatively good spot right now at right around 60 pitches in the first 3 2/3. Certainly you're hoping that he can get you through 4 innings and possibly longer tonight.
Now Will Hoyt stands in. First pitch he sees, he swings and misses at. Already a couple of broken bats from the Cyclones here. We talked about Cartaya, an east and west kind of guy, likes to throw inside and outside with that fastball. A lot of times when you throw inside, you can jam hitters like we saw on that pitch to Houck, as well as breaking bats. Now the 0-1, a check swing. He goes around quickly. Cartaya ahead of Will Hoyt, 0-2. Will Hoyt on the year, 24 hits, 5 of them home runs, as well as 56 strikeouts. Cartaya from the wind, delivers home. 0-2 pitch is just low, 1-2. Cartaya sets, lifts, delivers home. Hit right back up the middle. Aloy to his left, fields it, spins, throws, in time to Irish. We're back for the bottom of the 4th here on the Frederick Keys Baseball Network and Masson for the first time in Frederick Keys history. The hometown Keys with an early 4-0 lead. Yeber Cartaya shut out baseball through 4 frames. It'll be 8-9-1 due up for the Keys here in the 4th. Edwin Amparo, Alfredo Velasquez, each with a single in that second inning. Velasquez driving in Amparo with 2 outs. They'll be followed by the leadoff and Leandro Arias. First pitch inside to Amparo, 1-0 the count. 1-0 pitch is cut on and fouled into the catcher Gutierrez. Home plate umpire Brendan Amon will take the ball back out to Trinos, give the Brooklyn backstop a moment to gather himself.
For Edwin Amparo, we've seen so far for him some speed today. We've also seen him get some contact and a 2 RBI double last night. So far he's been able to show off some power as Edwin Amparo in the first 2 games in High A this year. Of course, last year played quite a bit of High A in 2025.
Stands in. The 1-1 pitch, he hits right back up the middle. It's gloved by Enriquez, the second baseman, fading into the grass, throwing across in time, just in time, to get Edwin Amparo for the first out of the 4th. Of course, Amparo playing second base for the Keys last night, now hitting as the DH here today. As Alfredo Velasquez, another guy who has rejoined this High A roster this week. Singled, scored back in the second inning. First pitch to him here, he hits to the left side. Shortstop Houck fielding it, throwing across in time to get Velasquez quickly, 2 outs in the 4th. It'll roll the lineup over to the top, and Leandro Arias, who is 1 for 2 on the day, struck out in the bottom of the 1st, singled back in the 2nd inning. First pitch of his 3rd at-bat is high and out for ball 1. Arias entered the day with a hit against Chirinos in his career. Was 1 for 4 entering. He sharply ropes this one down the left field line, but foul, bouncing into the front of the dugout, down the third base line. Arias also a pair of walks against Chirinos in his career. Chirinos 1-1 pitch is chopped this time down the first baseline foul. Arias behind 1-2.
When the Keys are making their first half title push, it was Leandro Arias who was their main leadoff man along of R.J. Austin. R.J. Austin off tonight for Frederick, but Leandro has been such an integral part of this team and really of this franchise and the way they've continued to develop here as of late. It looks like there are some words with the Cyclones dug up. But nonetheless, for Arias, he has been a really that consistent either in the top of the order or in that middle part, just the way he can get on base anytime.
Chirinos peers over the glove, delivers home high for ball 2. It really has been those glue guys that have helped the Keys be so successful. Yes, they've got a ton of top prospects. Ike Irish, number 2. Nate George, number 1. Vihiva Aloy, number 5. But it's also been, those guys who maybe don't have the high-level names who have provided for this team. 2-2 pitch, just high of the zone. 3-2. Chirinos shakes his head. Even put a point out to home plate umpire Brandon Aumann as the count rolls full here with 2 outs in the 4th. The payoff, outside ball 4.
And that's another run due to infrastructure.
Yeah, certainly for Chirinos, missing on the fastball in the outer half, you certainly wonder, of course, at this point, how much longer you want to go with Chirinos. Right now at 67 pitches on his tab. In terms of his pitch counts throughout the year, they've been mostly in the 70s range, as he's gone 89, or at least, I should say, at least 80 pitches on all of his outings thus far.
His first pitch to Irish is high and in for ball 1. Arias now 3 walks and a pair of hits, as well as 4 strikeouts against Chirinos, so a fairly balanced mix, as we'll get a mound visit here from the Brooklyn pitching coach, Luis Alvarado. Alvarado's second trip to the mound. Of course, joined by Gutierrez from behind home plate. Probably a mound visit more to just kind of calm the emotions there. Chirinos visibly frustrated with the non-strike 3 call in the at-bat to Arias, and then starts this count with the ball. You want to go out there, just kind of wipe his memory, let him know, you're 1 pitch away from getting out of this, whether it's a ground ball or just go at Irish here. Irish, the former Auburn Tiger, native of the state of Michigan, number 2 ranked prospect for the Orioles. Watches the 1-0 pitch, just high, 2-0. Homered back in the first inning, his 11th home run of the year, RBI number 44 as well. Struck out in the second to end the inning. 2-0 pitch, fouled back into the mask of the, I believe, home plate umpire, Brandon Aumann. Chirinos working from the stretch with Arias at first base. Lifts, delivers home. Popped up, foul towards the third base side and onto the concourse by Irish. 2-2 the count. The Keys donning their military appreciation jerseys tonight. A mix of camo, the American flag, as well as the Keys script across the chest. 2-2 pitch. Line into left field and down for a hit. Arias will stop at second base, but Ike Irish has his second hit of the night. A 2-out single here in the 4th.
A strong piece of hitting from Ike Irish, and now we'll get a pitching change. Eduardo Nunez will come in, as we'll also bring the trainers out as well, but a good piece of hitting for Ike Irish.
Yeah, concerning to see the trainer walking out here, but Nunez will come out and looks like pull Chirinos from this ball game. And we will take a break. 4-0 Keys with 2 on and 2 outs here in the bottom of the 4th on the Frederick Keys Baseball Network.
For the first time since 2019, the Frederick Keys are back in Birdland. Our season begins on Tuesday, April 14th. We want to see you for a record 66 home games during the 2026 season. From 18 post-game fireworks shows to Sunday Fun Day and everything in between, there's something for everyone this summer at Nimio Field. For more information or to buy tickets, be sure to call 301-815-9900 or by visiting frederickkeys.com. Frederick Keys Baseball. Summer happens here.
His warm-up pitches are untimed as the injury gives him as much as he needs with the kind of impromptu nature of it. As mentioned, he'll inherit 2 runners on with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 4th. Leandro Arias at second base after a walk. Ike Irish on first base after a single. Vahiva Aloy will be the leadoff batter against Gomez. He struck out in the first inning against Chirinos, but tripled off of him in the 3rd, came around to score.
Yeah, big spot certainly here for Gomez, as you would like to figure out a way to get yourself through the rest of the inning. And for Chirinos, who in all of his outings in High A Brooklyn this year have gone at least 5 innings, so certainly a little bit of a different spot, only just getting through 3 2/3, and certainly you hope for Chirinos that he is okay moving forward, as Aloy will step in and try to make this a little bit more of a lead for the Keys. Chirinos, who again pitched, all things considered, with 7 Ks. You'll certainly live with that, no question about it, and certainly a lot of bright opportunities ahead for the right-hander Chirinos.
This will be his 5th appearance against the Keys. He hasn't given up a run in an appearance against Frederick since April 30th. He gave up 1 run in 2 innings of work. Now Aloy stands in. Gomez from the stretch comes set just above the belt, lifts and delivers home outside for ball 1. More velocity than we saw with Chirinos on that fastball. That first one from Gomez coming in at 97 miles an hour. Brooklyn defense plays Aloy slightly to the pole side. 1-0 home is cut on and missed, 1-1. Aloy played his college ball at Arkansas, won the Golden Spikes Award last year before being drafted by the Orioles in the 1st round. The 1-1 pitch is on the outer 3rd for a strike, 1-2.
Good spot there from Gomez, who's tricky part of him has been his command throughout the year, but when he's locating, can top that fastball in the upper 90s, and a really good reliever that they've used well into the season.
Here's the 1-2, chopped back up the middle and into center field for a base hit. Arias gets a green light and a wave around third base. The throw won't be made. The Keys add 1 more here in the 4th. 5 runs through 4 innings, yet to have a silent frame as Vahiva Aloy earns RBI number 52.
That's the 2nd time that we've seen the Keys tonight with 2 outs coming up and delivering, as 3 in a row reach, 2 on base hits, 1 on a walk. This top of the order for the 3rd time, able to get another 2-out rally, and that's been the difference here. They've just gotten the timely hits so far in the first half of the ball game, now up by 5.
Still 2 on with 2 outs, this time for Yasmiel Bousset, an 0-for-1 start with a walk and a strikeout. And we talked about it in the pregame show. The Keys can do it a lot of different ways, but when they're playing small ball, they're just finding gaps and moving the line down. They're a really hard team to get 3 outs on. 1-0 from Gomez is outside, 2-0. And of course, with this Keys team, when you add the power of Victor Figueroa, Vahiva Aloy, and Ike Irish, among just a few names who have tallied several home runs, it makes them a really dangerous lineup. Gomez set. His 2-1 offer is at the feet of Bousset, 3-0. Can also add Bousset to the likes of the home run lists. He has just 5 on the season, but they've come in about the last week or so. 3 of those home runs, the 2-run variety. Now the 3-0 pitch is on its way. On the inner 3rd for a strike to Bousset, 3-1 the count.
Mentioned too for Gomez, last time that he came in for the Cyclones, you got to go back to June the 28th, inning of work with 2 walks and 2 strikeouts. In the last 5 games, he has 5 walks and 10 punch-outs.
Here's the 3-1, fouled back into the pads behind home plate, now 3-2. Runners will be on the move with a full count and 2 outs here in the bottom of the 4th. Aloy at first, Irish at second, already 1 across for Frederick. The payoff is called strike 3. Bousset goes down looking, leaving a pair on the pads, but not before 1 comes across in the 4th. 5-0 Keys as we head to the 6th. By voice of the Keys, Gus Balo. Keys sporting their military appreciation jerseys here tonight. A really just good-looking jersey. A little bit of camo in there. The American flag across the chest, as well as the Keys script. It'll be Sam Biller to lead it off here in the top of the fifth, followed by Jonathan Rodriguez and John Bay atop the lineup. First pitch to Biller is popped up, foul towards the concourse, just to the third base side, 0-1.
Looked like it took some hops there between the fans down by that third base side.
I think a fan took a tumble trying to go for it as the 0-1 pitch is in the inner third for a strike, 0-2.
Foul balls are always tough to come by, so when you have the chance to get it, a lot of fans will try to take advantage, as a lot of fans are situated in that same area down by the third base line.
Here's the 0-2 from Cartaya outside. Like an older gentleman is situated on the front row of the back portion of the seatings and might have taken a tumble down the stairs going for that baseball, but he comes up with it and he comes up smiling. That's the important part. Cartaya's 1-2 pitch fouled back into the net. It'll stay on the field this time. We'll do 1-2 again. A good crowd here on a very hot Thursday evening in Frederick. Cartaya shakes once, now lifts and delivers home. Just inside to Biller, 2-2.
Tried to frame it on a fastball at 97 miles an hour. The fastest pitch we've seen so far from Yeber Cartaya, who was loving to get through 5 innings here of scoreless ball.
He winds this time. The 2-2 pitch just outside, fills the count at 3-2.
You can tell he wants it. You can tell he wants that strikeout, try to get his third one of the day, but good takes here from Biller, put the count full.
His payoff wind popped up on the infield to the left side of it. Aloy and Yeaman fading into the left field grass. It'll be Yeaman calling off the other two for the first out of the inning. Jonathan Henriquez now will dig in. A 2-for-2 start to his day. It's double in the first, a single in the third, but has not scored. Up to 40 hits on the year.
Looked like we got a pitch clock violation on the batter, and that's exactly what it is, as Henriquez didn't step in time. Now put immediately Jonathan down on the count 0-1. He's got 2 base hits tonight, but it immediately puts him down to the count.
A battle from behind. The 0-1 is just outside, now 1-1. Henriquez entered the day with a hit against Cartaya in 3 at-bats. It was a double to drive in a run. Cartaya pauses, begins the wind, delivers home. The 1-1 pitch just inside, 2-1. The last 2 nights, it's been Mitch Voigt atop the lineup for the Cyclones. He's getting a well-earned day off as these two teams play their third in as many days. 2-1 from Cartaya, sent into right center field. Coming on is Velasquez from right. He makes the catch at eye level for the second out of the inning.
Now batting number 7, John Bay.
Now John Bay to swing it. A walk in the first and a batter's interference in the third, one that proved costly as Jonathan Henriquez was trying to steal, but called back to first as Bay was called out after making contact with the body of Bousset throwing down to second. First pitch to Bay here is high and tight, 1-0. Bay stands in at 6'1", played his college ball at Austin P State. 1-0 pitch is fouled back into the net, 1-1.
Certainly for Yeber Cartaya, as he's now an out away from getting through 5 innings of scoreless ball. Certainly be a great bounce back for him. Trying to keep this a scoreless game and potentially in line for what would be just his second win of the year.
1-1 to Bay is high and out, 2-1. Austin Peay State, of course, located in the state of Kentucky. A great mid-major baseball program. Cartia's 2-1. Popped up foul towards the first base side, but well over the press box. Now 2-2 the count. Deuces wild, 2-2 count with 2 outs. Nobody aboard here in the top of the 5th. Cartia's pitch. Just inside, 3-2.
Looking for that changeup on the inner half. And a good take from John Bay. Keeps him alive. Bay is always a tough out. And has always been a tough out for these Keys throughout the entirety of the year for a lot of teams.
The payoff. Swinging, strike 3. Oh, they're going to say he got a piece. Bay does get a tip, so we'll do it again. Cartia doesn't seem to think so. It was a check swing, not a super commanding one through the zone, but Bay stays alive.
Yeah, he just got a piece of it right there at the very end. So it keeps him alive and allows Bay to potentially get on base.
3-2, 2 outs. Cartia gives a nod, begins that wind. The pitch. A high fly ball into shallow left field. Yeaman and Honeycutt chasing over, but it falls foul. And now a third 3-2 pitch on the way.
So been a long battle here for Yeber Cartia, who's now just fired home pitch number 80 of the night. And what could be one of the last batters he sees just based off the pitch count. He would love to finish strong and retire John Bay. Yeber Cartia, in season high in pitches, is 88. That was achieved back on June the 6th. So again, he's right around where he usually maxes out for his games. And for Cartia, a big offer right here as you do have a dangerous part of the lineup up. As we've seen, the Cyclones can get runs when they need to. So big spot here for both teams.
Bay back in the box. Bit of a delay there. Now the payoff pitch. Outside for ball 4. A lengthy at-bat, a couple of foul balls, and Bay earns a 2-out walk, his second walk of the day.
Yeah, it's a tough break for Cartia as Colin Woody will head out. More than likely will get a pitching change on the Keys side, as Colin Woody usually does the mound visits for when it comes to pitching changes, and it does look like it will be a pitching change.
He will gesture to the bullpen, get the ball from Cartia. His evening is over, and we will take a break here on the Frederick Keys Baseball Network. 5-0. Frederick in control.
The best nights at Nimio Field are the ones you share. With so many great options to choose from, Nimio Field is the perfect site for your next group outing. Take in a game from the Coors Light Chill Deck along the third baseline, or the NJM Insurance Group Courtyard located down the first baseline.
Fullerton, California native, stands in at 6'4", age 23, but his college ball at California Baptist out in Riverside, California. He'll face Corey Collins, and the first pitch he delivers is a high drive into deep right center field. Velasquez chases back towards the track, and it lands just in front of it. A wave around third from Bay. Collins cruises into second to throw to home. Not in time. One pitch to Collins, an RBI double puts the Cyclones on the board. 5-1 here in the top of the 5th.
A really nice piece of hitting from Collins. Got a fastball where he wanted and put it in the air to right center. So that'll close the book on Cartia, who allowed just 1 run and what was a total of 4 2/3 innings of work. And now at this point, if you're down here, just trying to keep this a 4-run game and don't let the Cyclones get too much momentum here down the stretch.
Downer before that pitch, a 5.18 ERA and 24 1/3 innings of work. We'll get time behind home plate, this time by the batter Diverson Gutierrez. 0 for 2 start, those against Cartia. A strikeout in the first, a flyout to right in the third. Of course, his flyout was on the track, just in front of the foul wall, but run down by Velasquez and a close throw to third, nearly got a double play. First pitch here is in the dirt, 1-0.
Brandon Downer is a guy they'll use in sort of the mid-game situations. As you mentioned, the right-hander who was taken not too long back in the draft of 2024 in that 13th round. 13th outing of the year for Downer.
His 1-0 pitch is inside to Gutierrez, 1-1. He's allowed 14 earned runs this season on 5 home runs. Has struck out 18 while walking 16. So a guy with great stuff, but can be a little bit wild at times. Now the 2-0, high 3-0. Of course, California Baptist, the Lancers, another really good mid-major baseball program. Made a push for the Western Athletic Conference Tournament Championship this season. The 3-0 pitch to Gutierrez is in the dirt for ball 4. The first 2 against Downer reach.
Jordy Henry's going to make a mound visit, trying to talk things over with Downer. And again, for the Cyclones, we've seen them get runs when they need to. And certainly not out of the woods yet here for Downer, is all of a sudden, with the last 3 in a row reaching here for Brooklyn, that certainly puts the pressure on a little bit. And for Jamari Baylor, who, as we mentioned, a surging bat who had a close to a 400 average last week in their series against Jersey Shore. He's one swing away from making this game a lot more interesting, and then the man behind him, and Yohairo Cuevas, also a dangerous bat. So 2 big bats in the lineup. The tying run now in the on-deck circle for the Cyclones.
A little bit of deja vu here for the Keys as well. Yesterday in the top of the 5th, the first 2 were retired before Corey Collins reached. They made a pitching change, and then the next 4 reached, the last of which the Trace Wilhoit Grand Slam. Now for Jamari Baylor, 2 outs, 2 on. First pitch inside, 1-0. Last 3 reaching. The first to Cartaya, the last 2 off Downer. Infield will shift slightly to the left side. Yeaman hugging the line, Aloy in the gap, and the second baseman Arias up the middle. 1-0 from Downer. Drops in for a strike. Breaking ball atop the zone, 1-1.
Shows you how much confidence he has in that breaking ball, willing to put it in after giving up the 4-pitch walk. So a really good spot from Downer. Just trying to figure out a way to get a ground ball and just get the final out of the inning.
Downer's 1-1 is hit hard to the right side and through. The shift doesn't pay off against it, but here comes the throw. Velasquez going to now third base. The throw from Malloy, not in time to get him. An RBI, 2-out single for Jamari Baylor. Earns himself his 7th RBI as Collins comes in for the second run for the Cyclones in the inning.
Just a really good piece of hitting. Found his spot, put it where he needed to, and all of a sudden now for the Cyclones, you probably bring up your hottest batter in the lineup, certainly as of late, in Yohairo Cuevas. And 1 swing from Cuevas, tie this game up and make this a brand new ball game.
Cuevas was part of the 5 straight reaching in yesterday's top of the 5th. He walked. Baylor goes first pitch. It's called strike. The breaking ball. Bousset pump fakes to second, but makes sure the runner doesn't leave from third. Stolen base for Baylor is his 2nd in as many attempts. Cuevas, as you mentioned, partner, 4 home runs in the last week. Was making some swing adjustments this season, and it's certainly starting to pay off. The 0-1 to him is hit hard and into right field on the ground. We're going to get 1 wave across and a second one from third base. The throw from Velasquez, not made by Bousset, blocks it in front of the plate, but the run comes across. 5 straight reach with 2 outs in the top of the 5th. The Cyclones trailing the Keys by just 1, 5-4 in the inning.
Some really gritty at-bats here by Brooklyn. Just a good opportunity as Cuevas found a hole he wanted in that right side. And all of a sudden, you're a base hit from tying this ball game. And now for Downer, just got to figure out a way to sort of reset and keep your team ahead by 1.
Now Colin Houck, an 0-for-2 start to his day. Fake swing from Cuevas. Ball fouled back into the backstop, 0-1. Downer set, he'll check back to first. Backside at the chest. Chopper to the left side. Yeaman gloves it on the run. Throws across in time to end the inning, but not before the Cyclones put 4 on the board. They're back within a run, 5-4 Keys here on the Frederick Keys Baseball Network. As the Keys now look to build their lead yet again. They lead it 5-4 after a 4-run top of the 5th by Brooklyn. It'll be Vance Honeycutt, Brylan Tavera, and Colin Yeaman to swing it here in the bottom of the 5th. Christopher Gomez does re-enter after getting the final out in the 4th. His first pitch to Honeycutt is above the numbers 1-0. Honeycutt 1 for 2 on the day. Singled back in the 3rd after flying out in the 1st. Swings and misses here, 1-1. Crowd slowly swelling here in Frederick as the heat cools, although I would say 90 is cool by any means, but better than our 96 first pitch temp as the 1-1 pitch catches the outer 3rd for a strike to Honeycutt, 1-2. Much larger crowd now than we started with. Here's the 1-2. Just outside, 2-2.
Good take there by Honeycutt. Seeing a slider away from Christopher Gomez, who came into the night with an ERA of 3.29 as of right now. Still no runs allowed in his tab in relief.
Gomez lifts, delivers the 2-2 outside, 3-2. -7 on that fastball. Now Honeycutt awaits the payoff pitch. Gomez pauses above the belt. Now lifts and delivers in the dirt for ball 4.
Strong take on the fastball by Vance Honeycutt as he was very patient. Didn't want to really rush things, and he gets rewarded with a base on balls. Second time he's reached in a row for Vance Honeycutt.
That's his 26th walk on the season. After his single back in the 3rd, he stole his 23rd base of the year. Cyclones will have to keep an eye on first. Now Brylan Tavera. Honeycutt goes first pitch. It's a swing and a miss, and it's dropped on the transfer by Gutierrez behind the plate. Stolen base number 24 for Honeycutt on the season. Now a team lead over Ellis Cuevas.
Going before the pitch as well. Really good opportunity there for Vance. When he gets on base, he can really fly. One of the fastest players on this roster. And now, of course, as you mentioned, they're the team lead in stolen bags with those 24 now.
He's been caught just 3 times. The 0-1 to Tavera misses outside and low. Now runner in scoring position. The Keys looking to get back the 4 they gave up in the top half of the inning. One of those charged to the starter Cartaya, 3 to Brandon Downer. 1-1 to Tavera, drops in, an off-speed pitch falls for a strike, 1-2. The infield faked a back pick move, got Honeycutt to retreat to the bag. The second baseman Henriquez breaking to second base. Now the 1-2, chop back up the middle, Honeycutt advancing, a tough play for Houck. He's gonna collect and throw in time to get Tavera at first. A nice play going across the diamond. And a 6-3 bounce out retires Tavera.
Good play nonetheless to move the runner over 90 feet. And you certainly bring up the bottom of the lineup now for Frederick, which for Yeaman, who's 0 for 2, the infield playing in, you love to get a run back in this inning and have a little more insurance going into the last 4 innings here tonight.
Yeaman entered the ball game with 8 hits against Brooklyn, but just a 170 batting average. First pitch is a drive into shallow left field. Honeycutt gets to third to tag. He will advance home as the catch is made. The throw won't be in time. A sac fly for Colin Yeaman earns him himself his 22nd RBI of the season.
Always really good at trying to get that run back, and that's exactly what you do when you get the second run. Or I'd say now they've scored in the first 5 innings of this game. And that's just a really good opportunity there for Vance to come on down with his speed. And the Keys now back up to a little more breathing room, which I'm sure they're very much glad with here after the Cyclones got 4 in the top of the 5th.
Now Edwin Amparo, the DH, taking ball 1. The Keys tonight scoring in every inning so far. And it's been a spread effort, nearly every key reaching base. 1-0 to Amparo is a swing and a miss, 1-1. They'll play Amparo to pull with the shortstop Hauk by second base. 1-1, a swing and a miss, 1-2. Before the two-strike count, Baylor was on the cut at third base. Now he'll move back to about halfway between second and third, nearing the cut of the outfield grass. 1-2, swing and a miss. The Keys get one in the fifth. They lead it 6-4 on 8 hits as we head to the 6th inning here on the Frederick Keys Baseball Network. It's the top of the 6th here on the Frederick Keys Baseball Network and Masson for the first time in Frederick Keys history. Frederick with a 6-4 lead through 5 innings of play. Trace Wilhoit and Sam Biller, the 8th and 9th batters, will begin the inning before the top of the order, and Jonathan Enriquez takes his 4th at-bat. Brandon Downer back out for his first full inning of work. First pitch he throws is chopped foul down the third base line by Wilhoit. Downer already 3 runs charged to his tab after coming in with 2 outs in the 5th. Those 3 runs on a pair of hits and a walk. 3 hits and a walk. His 0-1 wind is cut on and missed. Nice off-speed pitch. Misses that barrel, 0-2. Downer peers over the glove. Now begins that wind. The 0-2 pitch in the dirt, 1-2.
Big spot certainly here for Downer after getting charged of 3 of those earned runs. If you can find a way just to, again, the bottom of the order, get some quick outs and try to keep the Keys rather ahead in a tight one.
1-2 at the feet of Wilhoit, 2-2. Wilhoit, an 0-for-2 start to the night. A pair of bounce outs to the left side, to third and to short. Has 24 hits on the season, 5 of them home runs. Now the 2-2 from Downer. A curveball, just high the zone, 3-2.
Right on top of the letters is Wilhoit. Big opportunity to get aboard on the night so far. In his time, as you mentioned there, 0-for-2 for Wilhoit, or rather 1. He's 0-for-2, but looking to get on.
The 3-2 pitch is called strike 3. Downer sits him down after a payoff pitch. 1 up, 1 down here in the 6th.
Well, that slider that Brandon Downer that time and froze up Wilhoit. Big first down on his tab. And for Wilhoit, that's been at times something that he's continuing to figure out ways to improve on. Been those strikeouts. Good off speed from Downer, retires Trace.
Downer's 19th punch out of the season. Now Sam Biller to bat, an 0-for-2 start to his evening. He chops the first pitch foul into his front foot. He'll limp out of the box.
Yeah, it's always a stinger, no question about it. And it'll take an extra second to walk that one off. And when you get a fastball that you sort of ricochet right off of your foot, your body, of course, not used to that reaction, so it's a quick turnaround for Sam Biller.
And Biller wears a guard on the front foot up the shin as well as covering the foot, but a 94 fastball hit that hard into the foot, I don't imagine the padding does much. But he's back in and good to go. 0-1 as Yeaman moves into a typical shortstop position. 0-1, swing and a miss, 0-2. Downer attacking here with the leadoff batter and Jonathan Enriquez due up. Yeaman back to the third base spot. Big gap on the left side. The 0-2 pitch outside, 1-2. Playing a little bit of a unique shift against Biller here. The second baseman, Arias, is in a standard second base step a little bit to his right. Aloy up the middle, but Yeaman hugging the line. 1-2 pitch popped up foul towards the third base side, but onto the concourse.
It took a couple wild hops off the Mattress Warehouse Club, and it will find in the hands of a young fan who is very emphatic after that foul ball.
Now the 1-2 from Downer. Just low of the zone, 2-2. Downer winds. 2-2 pitch in the dirt, 3-2.
Another big payoff here for Brandon Downer. As with the top of the order up, and Henriquez, who's, as we've seen tonight, very dangerous bat, 2 for 3. This is a big out to get if you're Brandon Downer right now. You certainly would not want the top of the order up at the tying run on.
His 25th pitch on the way, 13 of them strikes. Here it is. Popped up into shallow left center. Honeycutt camped as Tavera chases over. It will be Honeycutt, the left fielder, making the catch for the second out of the 6th. Now the ever-dangerous Jonathan Henriquez, a pair of hits tonight, a single and a double, as well as a deep fly out to right field back in the 5th inning. An average of 199, began the day at 192, so it's taken a hike, just a mark below the Mendoza line. First pitch in the dirt to Bousset. 1-0 count. 12 doubles on the year for Henriquez, as well as 3 home runs. Not known to be a power bat, but has some of that in the barrel. 1-0 pitch. Chopped to the second baseman, Arias. Is going to field it on a couple of steps, throw across in time to end the inning. 1-2-3, go the Cyclones in the top of the 6th. We'll head to the home half from Frederick. The righty Hunter Hodges out of the bullpen for the Cyclones here in the bottom of the 6th. Thanks for joining us here on the Frederick Keys Baseball Network. Hodges, 23 years of age. The Wilmington, North Carolina native out of Texas Christian University. Enters with a 2.51 ERA. That's in 28 2/3 innings of work. He's allowed 2 home runs while striking out 41, an opponent batting average against of just 198. His first pitch to Alfredo Velasquez misses outside for ball 1.
Hodges is a guy that's one of their top used relievers. Has 3 scoreless outings in his last 4 appearances dating back to June the 18th.
The 1-1 pitch is hit to the right side. A long run for the second baseman, Enriquez. He spins those in just in time to get Velasquez. Nice play on the right side of the infield for the first out.
That's a really heads-up play by the second baseman, Enriquez. Doing a really good job of sort of finding that gap and able to make the spinning throw. And just like that, it will bring him into the batter's box at the top of the order for the 4th time.
Now the top of the order in Leandro Arias. 1 for 2 start to his day. He takes strike 1. A strikeout in the first, a single in the second, a walk in the third. Came across to score. Oh, 1 pitch outside, 1-1. Hodges has seen the Keys 4 times. Gave up an earned run in an inning of work both on June 10th and 13th. And the 1-1 pitch outside, 2-1.
Big spot certainly here for Leandro Arias. For Hodges, gets the Keys, has had a couple of scoreless outings on his tab.
Pitch misses, now 2-2. His last scoreless outing against the Keys was May 2nd. Went an inning of work. Got the save as well. 2-2. Hit off the end of the bat the other way. Colin Woody grabs it in the third base coach's box with a bare hand and gives a toss of that baseball into the stands.
Colin Woody, who was an infielder back with the Keys in 2018, certainly has enjoyed the time as manager, but still remembers those playing days all too well.
2-2 from Hodges is chopped foul this time towards the Keys on deck circle where Ike Irish stands. Arias on the year now, 52 hits, 6 of them doubles, also 36 walks. Hodges 2-2, just outside, 3-2.
Try to find a backdoor slider there, did Hunter Hodges, but a good take from Arias, who one of the leaders in walks taken on this roster. Arias entering the night in terms of the walks drawn at 35 of the year.
Hodges payoff. Called strike 3. Worked the off-speed pitch right onto the outside corner. Nice pitch to set down Arias.
He went with the backdoor slider again, as we talked about. That's one of the best pitches that he has in his arsenal. Doing a really good job just putting it right where he wanted to, and brings up Ike Irish with 2 outs.
Irish recently named to the MLB Futures game as we get a brief pause in gameplay from the home plate umpire, Brendan Aumann. He's joined by Brandon Smith in the field. Irish will make his way about 2.5 hours into Pennsylvania. Play at Citizens Bank Park. The first pitch outside, 1-0. No doubt that Philly will be a good host to the All-Star game and festivities this season. Of course, Philly getting some big sports news yesterday with the Jaylen Brown trade. 1-0 outside, 2-0.
It'll be he and Joseph Jura who will be those two that will make the trip up. Representing the Orioles organization, former Key and Joseph Jura, who is having a great start as well back at AA.
2-0 is a high drive into right center field. Going back is Cuevas, looking up, it's gone! His second home run of the day. Touch 'em all time, Ike Irish. He's got a dozen trips around on the season. He extends the Keys lead 7-4 here in the 6th.
Fastball right down Broadway, did not miss for Ike Irish. Second time he's gone deep to right tonight. That one a little bit deeper than the first one, but he gets over that wall in right center. And now the Keys lead back up to 3. A big insurance run there for Frederick.
A 3-for-4 start to the night for Ike Irish. Now Vahiva Aloy stands in, watches the ball in the dirt to begin his at-bat.
Just a touch on that home run, too, for Ike Irish. 100 miles an hour off the bat, just over 370 feet over that right center field wall.
Aloy 2 for 3 on the night with a single and a triple. He swings and misses here, 1-1. Irish, really a do-it-all player for the Keys, both in the field. He's typically an outfielder, though he was a catcher before going to Auburn, and now playing first base frequently here as well. Now the 1-1, swing and a miss from Aloy, 1-2. But even with the bat as well, can hit for power, can hit for contact, even has a bit of speed there as well. 17 stolen bases on the year. Hodges set, lifts the 1-2, outside and low, 2-2.
We've seen Irish, by the way, just to finish up in that home run, we've seen him a lot go opposite field here at Nimio Field. First time that we've seen him go with back-to-back homers to that right side at home.
Now the 2-2. Swing and a miss. Aloy goes down to end the inning, but not before Ike Irish gives the Keys their 7th run of the night. It's the top of the 7th here on the Frederick Keys Baseball Network, as well as Masson tonight, where you can also catch the Frederick Keys Saturday and Sunday as well. Brandon Downer back on the mound, and Brooklyn with a total of 4 runs on 6 hits and an error, 7 runs on 9 hits and clean defense for the Keys, as voice of the Keys, Gus Balo, takes over for the final 3 innings here on the Frederick Keys Baseball Network.
Thank you so much, Roland, as we move in now into this top of the 7th inning, and our score 7-4. Keys leading it by 3 runs. Brandon Downer making him trip out as the first stopper is fouled away. Count is 0-1 to John Bay.
And that one got a piece of Bousset behind the plate and immediately fell on his chest. He'll get a brief bit of relief from Brandon Aumann behind the plate.
It's certainly one of those tough plays that Bousset has to charge in on. As the put the count at 0-1 to John Bay. Cyclones, as you mentioned, their partner of 6 base hits. All their runs coming in the 5th inning, all of which were off of Brandon Downer. One of those runs, though, charged to Yeber Karataya, the starting pitcher. The 0-0 offer downstairs, 1 ball and 1 strike.
And it was the man at the plate, John Bay, who really got that started. He walked against Karataya with 2 outs in the 4th. That drove him from the ball game, and then from there 5 straight reached for the Cyclones.
1-1 to John Bay, fouled off right side, 1-2. As this will be 2, 3, and 4 up in the lineup for the Cyclones, as the Keys scoring in their first 6 innings of offense What once was a one-run game after 4.5, it's now back up to 3 for a lead for Frederick. 1-2. Downstairs, 2-2 to John Bay, who is 0 for 1 tonight. The lone time, though, he didn't reach base was on a batter's interference back in the 3rd inning, and it was one pitch and a stolen base attempt from Jonathan Henriquez, but they call batter's interference, and he was retired. 2-2 from Downer. Ground ball left side and foul in towards the Cyclones dugout, and the count staying at 2-2 to John Bay. John Bay, the hero for the Cyclones in the South Atlantic League title game last year, with the last caught out to wrap up the title. The 2-2 home. Got him swinging this time. Strike 3. Brandon Downer gets his second strikeout of the night as he retires John Bay for the first out of the inning. And let's now take a look at some of the out-of-town scoreboards from the South Atlantic League tonight. One of the 3 high A leagues in minor league baseball. Bottom of the ninth, it's Greenville, Winston-Salem, 9 it up at 4-piece. The Dash will try to get a walk-off victory and hand Greenville another loss. Right now the score there is tied at 4. First offer downstairs for ball 1. Asheville tonight trying to keep their first place in the second half standings. They've won 6 games in a row, and right now are 3 defensive outs away from winning a 7th. They're up 17-2 over Hub City tonight. First offer to Collins after the ball is swung on a miss, 1-1. A wild offensive game between Bowling Green and Greensboro. Greensboro leading it 21-10. 31 combined runs on 31 hits as the one offer downstairs. The Grasshoppers, of course, were the runners-up in the South Atlantic League North in the first half, falling a game shy of the Keys, who ultimately won the first half title, punching their ticket to the playoffs for the first time in 9 years. The 2-1. Collins takes it in for a strike, 2-2. Middle of the 7th, Rome leading it over Jersey Shore, 8-1. Rome looking to take the first 3 over the Blue Claws, while it's Hudson Valley, 9-5 over Wilmington. Blue Rocks getting 4 runs, though, at the top of the 7th, so making that game a little bit closer. 2-2 on the way is swung on a miss, strike 3, and Brandon Downer gets back-to-back punch-outs to John Bay and Corey Collins. And it brings up Divers and Gutierrez.
You got to wonder if Brandon Downer maybe felt a little bit rushed coming out of the bullpen because his first inning wasn't great. He obviously allowed those 3 runs, let 4 straight reach on him, but then in his last 2, 5 straight retired, including those 3 strikeouts. His stuff looking really good now as he gets deeper into his outing.
He'll bring up a big opportunity now for Divers and Gutierrez as the first offer will miss for ball 1. Gutierrez on the night walked back in the 5th, also had a flyout and a strikeout tonight. So still is 0 for 2 is Divers and Gutierrez. 1-0 from Downer. Downstairs now 2-0. After Gutierrez, it's Jamari Baylor and then Yohairo Cuevas. This was the part of the order that, as we mentioned earlier, got those runs back in the 5th inning. Downer from the line. Kicks and deals now the 2-0 to Diverson. Well outside, 3-0, and he jumps ahead, does Gutierrez. 3 balls and no strikes. Downer, who is now fired home, 41 pitches. This will be pitch 42 on his tab as he fires home the 3-0. Well outside, ball 4. 4-pitch walk will put a runner on base and bring up Jamari Baylor. And the Cyclones will put the tying run to the on-deck circle of 2 outs here at the top of the 7th.
2 walks for Downer in his outing so far, and they've both been to Gutierrez in 4-pitch fashion. Did that same thing back in the 5th inning where Gutierrez did come around to score.
Colin Woody with a foot on the edge of the dugout. First-year Keys manager after being the manager of the single-A Delmarva Shorebirds the last 2 years. Will keep out his reliever for now in Downer. Jamari Baylor's first offer, it's fouled away, and it ricochets off the catcher's gear of Buse. And the count 0-1 for Jamari. Jamari Baylor, a local product out of Richmond, Virginia. When I say local to the relative area of the DMV. Richmond about 2.5 hours away from downtown Frederick. 0-1 offers, swung on a miss as he falls behind 0-2, and his momentum takes him out of the batter's box. No balls and 2 strikes as Downer will once again come set.
Baylor drafted by the Phillies back in 2019 out of high school. Played his high school ball at Benedictine in Richmond.
He falls behind here, though, 0-2. With the run on first and Divers and Gutierrez. Downer from the stretch Kicks and fires, runner takes off. It is high for a ball with a throw on a second base. In time to end the inning. ERA against Frederick of 3.0. And for Jenkins, making appearance 23 on his tab. Yasmin Buse takes the first offer for ball one. And the count now 1 ball and no strikes on the way to Buse.
Yeah, Jenkins, the Knoxville native, played his college ball for the Volunteers. Drafted by the Mets in round 17 back in 2023.
1-0 is fouled off, straight back 1-1. Jenkins, one of the many arms that the Cyclones have in that bullpen. A team that still has an ERA as a bullpen entering the night of just 3.66. Really, both these teams all season have been really consistent in their pitching in terms of the ERA. Keys and Cyclones are neck and neck for the South Atlantic League best in ERA. The 1-1. Ground ball right side, playing it is Enriquez, the second base. When he goes on to first, the throw there in time. And Buse is retired. It brings up Vancenica. We'll have a second as well. We will take a look at the scores from around the Orioles farm system tonight. The Chesapeake Bay Sox winning at 8-4 over the Binghamton Rumble Ponies tonight. Bay Sox now with 33 wins on the year. It's the bottom of the 8th. Delmarva leading it by 1 over Charleston. 3-2 the score there in Salisbury, Maryland. First offer at Honeycutt, downstairs for a ball. It's Scranton who has a 4-3 lead over the Norfolk Tides in the bottom of the 7th. That game still moving along there in Scranton, Pennsylvania. 1-0. Fouls it off, 1-1 to Honeycutt. Vance Honeycutt had an RBI single back in the 3rd, a walk he drew in the 5th, but he found himself in a 1-1 count against Bryce Jenkins. The 1-1. Fouls it off, 1-2 now. One ball and 2 strikes on the way to Honeycutt. Out of the University of North Carolina, his college team finishing 2nd in the College World Series to Oklahoma. 1-2 home. Downstairs, 2-2 as it just gets a little bit below the zone. They'll even up the count for Vance Honeycutt.
And a heck of a run from the Tar Heels this season, a perennial powerhouse. They're still looking for their first national championship, but always a favorite.
2-2 on the way here is downstairs, now 3-2, and once again for Honeycutt, he finds himself in a payoff. Second time he's had to deal with that tonight. 3-2 the count for Vance as Jenkins from the line fires the payoff. Got him swinging this time, strike 3. The slider ties him up. And Honeycutt is retired. It's 2 gone in the inning for Brown Severa.
32nd strikeout in now 28 2/3 innings from Jenkins. An effective strike thrower, has some nice stuff there. That time 84 on the off-speed pitch. It spun real well, started in the middle of the plate and worked its way well off.
It'll be 2 outs now for Brown Severa. First offer outside, ball 1. Just got the word as well. Tyson Neighbors, who's with the Keys on a minor league rehab, is warming up in the Frederick bullpen. So likely he'll come on and pitch in the 8th. 1-0 the count. The Rock and fire home. Called strike 1-1. Severa on the day is 0 for 3. Couple strikeouts and a ground out on his tab so far tonight as he takes this one downstairs. 2-1 on a quick wind from the right-hander Bryce Jenkins. 2 balls and a strike. On the line, he kicks and deals. Ground ball up the middle, charged on the one, bobbled by Houck, and it goes into center field. Houck looked like he had a read on it, but it scoots off of his glove, and that will extend the inning for the Frederick Keys. And we'll bring up into the batter's box Colin Yeaman as they will give it an error on Houck. It'll be an E6 and the second error of the night for Brooklyn.
That one a weird play. Houck had it read, had the play practically made, but it just kind of rolled off the thumb of the glove and into center field.
It'll certainly bring up another potential 2-out rally for Frederick, which they've done a few times tonight. First offer to Yeaman in the air in a shallow left, but hanging up in the air enough, and it pops out of the glove of Sam Biller. Tavera's going to round third and look to get the wave on home. The throw to home is close, and it is in time. What a throw by left by Sam Biller, and ends the inning. We move into the 8th, 7-4 our score. When we come back, on the Keys Baseball Network. Welcome back, folks, to this presentation of Frederick Keys Baseball here on the Frederick Keys Baseball Network, as well as tonight here on Masson. Gus Balo and Roland Raffelli, so glad to be here with you as we move into this top of the eighth. Our score 7-4. The Keys leading it, and they will send out in relief the minor league rehabber for Frederick, that being the right-hander Tyson Neighbors, who is in their farm system. The 15th ranked prospect for the Orioles has been primarily with Double-A. First offer now to Jamari Baylor, takes it in for a called strike as he was not looking to swing there on the count 0-1. No balls and one strikeout on the way to Baylor as Neighbors making his fourth outing for Frederick as part of his rehab. Fires an 0-1 and it drops in for a strike 0-2.
Neighbors typically a back-end guy, born in Sulphur Springs, Texas. Played his college ball at Kansas State. Was a fiery and fantastic arm for the Wildcats.
On the 0-2 here, it's swung on a miss. That slider got on the chase for strike 3. And on 3 pitches going down is Jamari Baylor for the first out of the inning.
That's his 30th strikeout on the season, the 23-year-old. Now 4 strikeouts with the Keys.
They'll bring up Yohairo Cuevas into the batter's box. Neighbors currently his ERA a little bit inflated, but still is a guy that, again, you'll trust in a lot of late-game spots. As the first offer to Cuevas downstairs. Neighbors, last time out, he finished with 2 runs allowed in a third of an inning against the Blue Rocks on the 28th, while allowing 2 walks. Prior to that, he gave up a 5-run inning in the 9th, but then had a scoreless inning against the Spartanburgers in his first outing. 1-0 offer here inside, 2-0. So again, only just 3 outings for Neighbors on his minor league rehab stint. Began the season with Double-A Chesapeake. Of course, last year finishing with a really solid ERA, had a 1.85 ERA before he was traded as well at the deadline. 2-0 offer, swung on a miss, now 2-1. At the time when his trade, he was the number 12 ranked Padres prospect and then pitched in 32 games between High A Fort Wayne and then Double-A San Antonio with that 1.85 ERA. 2-1 to Cuevas, a ground ball left side. Playing it is Yeaman. He goes over to first base. The throw there in time, and it's 2 outs recorded by Neighbors.
Yeaman played that ball just like a shortstop would with the shift on through it from basically second base there across. A much shorter throw from the third baseman. Probably glad to be able to give the arm a little bit of rest on that throw.
So it brings up 2 outs now for Colin Houck, who's 0 for 3. After Houck, it's Will Hoyt, Sam Biller, and then Jonathan Henriquez. As Neighbors from the line kicks and deals the first offer to Houck. Got him swinging for strike 1. Neighbors, who as you mentioned, pitching 3 seasons at Kansas State. 20 saves, the 3rd most all-time in the history of the Wildcat program. In 2023, he was, without question, one of the top closers in all of college baseball. The 0-1, way high for ball 1.
A little bit wild there with the fastball. 98, looked like it had a bit of arm side run, buzz the tower of Houck.
1 ball and 1 strike now for Colin Houck. As Neighbors trying to figure out a way to get this final out and keep this a 3-run game at the very least heading into the 9th. Neighbors sets and fires the 1-1. Downstairs, 2-1. As it just misses a couple inches below that zone, now 2-1. The count to Colin Houck. He's 0 for 3 tonight with the 3 grounders. But looking to get on base and trying to get a 2-out rally for the Cyclones, which they've done before. The 2-1. Fouls it off, 2-2. Tyson Neighbors, who at the time of his selection was a 4th-round draft choice in 2024 by the San Diego Padres. And, of course, was traded as part of that Ryan O'Hearn trade at the deadline. Here's the 2-2. Outside, 3-2 now to Houck, and the count full.
A lot of guys currently on this roster part of that trade. Victor Figueroa and key starter Boston Bateman, 2 of the big names as well. Brandon Butterworth currently on a rehab, came over in that trade as well. And, of course, Neighbors.
Neighbors fires the payoff. Got him swinging, strike 3, and Neighbors gets a 1-2-3-8. Welcome back, folks, to this presentation of Frederick Keys Baseball here on the Frederick Keys Baseball Network. As it will be Haas Brewer to take things over into this bottom of the 8th inning with our score at 7-4 as Haas Brewer will make another outing for the Cyclones in a 7-4 game. Gus Spalo and Roman Raffelli here with you. Also, of course, tonight on Masson. We want to thank the folks there for making this happen here tonight, as it will be Haas Brewer to move on with the ball game as Tyson Neighbors, who pitched in that top of the 8th. Now it's on to Haas Brewer as the first offer missing them there for a ball. Haas Brewer coming on a relief of Bryce Jenkins, the 5th Cyclones pitcher they've used tonight. As the count reads 1-0. 1 ball, no strikes the offer as Amparo, that's Edwin Amparo, swinging and missing for a strike. Count runs to 1-1. Haas Brewer has an ERA of 3.94, a record of 2-3 on the year. Does have 2 saves as well. The 1-1. Amparo watches it go outside. It's 2-1. Last time out for him was against the Blue Claws on the 28th. Tossing 1 inning of work, 1 hit allowed, 1 walk, no case. But prior to that, struck out the side and a hold on the 26th. 2 balls and 1 strike to Amparo as he fires inside 3-1 as Haas Brewer missing on the inner half on a changeup.
Haas, the little brother of Colton Brewer, pitching currently in the Pirate system.
Here's the 3-1. Ground ball, right side foul. It's always funny to find those crossovers in baseball, and baseball is really a small world. It's one of those things where everyone really knows everybody.
Well, and it's funny that it is such a small world because it's got more teams than any sport probably in the world, maybe with the exception of football, but professional teams at least. You've got your 30 majors, and then each of those with having 4 teams below them.
Payoff offer fouled off. 3-2 remains the count. Edwin Amparo, who so far tonight has singled, also grounded out and striking out tonight. As so far in his tab, it's the 1-for-3 night for him, so an average of 286 in his first 2 games in a Keys uniform. On the offer, here's the payoff from Haas. Runs high, ball 4. Edwin Amparo will walk on the first plate appearance against Haas Brewer. And it brings up into the batter's box Alfredo Velasquez.
Edwin Amparo continuing to impress in his first bit of work with the Keys this season. Yesterday, doubled late and scored a pair of runs, as well as scoring himself eventually. And then tonight, a single to generate some late 2-out offense in the 2nd inning, as well as this walk here. Just takes good at-bats and plays the game hard.
First offer, there goes Amparo. It's Velasquez trying to bunt his way on, but he fouls, and the count 0-1. Amparo is heading down to second base, but it'll be a bunt foul as Velasquez trying to bunt his way on. You do have the top of the order up, so certainly it would be a wise decision if you try to bunt your way on, put the runner on at second. Braden Sloan, by the way, is warming for the Cyclones, or the Keys bullpen, excuse me. Likely to pitch in the 9th. No balls and 1 strike as Haas Brewer setting in from the belt. Fires the 0-1, and there goes Amparo. It's a chopper right side, and it gets down for a base hit. On the hit and run play, it works to perfection for Frederick as they'll put runners on the corners now. Leandro Arias comes up as with Amparo going, no chance for Henriquez to get the out at second. So it puts runners on the corners for Arias.
That's hit and run teach tape. That ball hit exactly where the second baseman Henriquez would have been had Amparo not gone. So working in tandem there, the stolen base creates a hit, and it allows him to also move to third base. Now runners on the corners in the top of the order. That's really great small ball from this Frederick team. That's a lot of what we see and what part of what's led to their success, obviously, in that first half with the first half title, as well as just a continued really strong offense here in the second half.
So it gives them an opportunity now into the box with Leandro Arias back up. He's got runners out in the corners and nobody out, a chance to give the Keys back potentially their largest lead of the night if both runs were to score. First offer, Arias fouls it off. The largest lead that the Keys have had tonight is 5. That was achieved back after 4 innings of play. And they've scored tonight in the first 6 of 7 innings of offense. No balls and 1 strike, our count to Leandro Arias. From the belt he sets. Delivers the 0-1. Inside 1-1. Arias tonight reaching base 2 times, singling in the second, walking in the fourth. Arias, the native by way of Santiago, Dominican Republic, part of the international free agent signing class 4 years ago. They go back to first to check on the runner in Velasquez. And the tag not in time. Alfredo Velasquez in his first 9 games as a key this year, 2 for 3 on stolen bases. 1 ball and 1 strike. Brewers setting in from the belt once more. Fires the 1-1. Ground ball right side. They'll look to get the out at home. The throw into home is in time. Out at home is Amparo, as it'll just be a fielder's choice, but they do get the out at the plate, and they'll certainly take that. Ike Irish coming up to the batter's box.
Really heads-up play on the corner by Will Hoyt. You typically expect that if the ball's hit to the corners with that run on third, you have a chance to go home. They do so there, and they execute it well. You know, you obviously trade that out for a run. Or you'll trade that out for the base runners now on first and second, especially because you've got a double play that could get you out of the inning unscathed.
They'll have to face off against Ike Irish, who is right now your player of the game with 2 homers and 3 base hits in all. First off for home. Irish takes it downstairs for ball 1. He's got 12 homers on the year now, does Ike. As he's homered now back in the first and then back in the sixth, both of which being solo shots. 1 ball, no strikes. Brewer from the stretch comes set and delivers. In there for a count strike in the outside corner, 1-1.
And 5 of his 12 home runs coming against these Cyclones. Guy must just see it well against Brooklyn.
We'd love to get some more RBIs right here. 1-1 from Hochsprung, comes set and fires. Swung on a miss, 1-2. Good off speed puts Irish down to the count. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Irish, who has a couple homers at Maimonides Park this year. 1 to center field and 1 down the left field line. 1-2 to Irish. Haas fires. Grounder up the middle, and it will be caught as they'll get the out at second there. The throw to first base is in time. Avoiding the tag at second was Arias. Irish out at first base, and Colin Woody emphatically calls time, as will Eduardo Nunez, as it was the Cyclones arguing that Arias was tagged out. They missed the tag there, but the throw to first is in time, and Colin Woody will have a chat with the bases umpire and Brandon Smith.
Well, the Cyclones are arguing he broke the base path by going into the grass in front, which I think you have maybe an argument for, but that's obviously just such a gray area there. And then the Keys got emphatically frustrated at the call at first base. I'm not sure that Smith in the field was looking at first base because Irish seemed to be well beyond the bag, but a close play there nonetheless, and certainly some fireworks here in the inning.
2 outs to Vahiva Aloy, first offer downstairs. Another high chopper that was from Irish. And if you're the Keys, you'd love to get these 2 runs home. That's why it's so important. You love to give your pitching, and more than likely Braden Sloan, some more insurance heading into the ninth. 1-0 the count now to Vahiva Aloy, who has an RBI single so far tonight. The 1-0. Outside 2-0. Had a triple as well back in the third, then the RBI single in the fourth, so is 2 for 3, or 2 for 4 rather tonight. Pass struck out 2 times. Yasmiel Bousse waiting on deck. Velasquez on third, Arias at second. The 2-0. Downstairs now 3-0.
If I'm Brooklyn here, I do consider walking Aloy a very hot bat, which Bousse behind him has also been a hot bat, but do you take the guy with 2 hits in the night versus a guy without a hit tonight?
Certainly decision time here for Haas Brewer as he sets in from the belt. Velasquez dancing off third as the 3-0 comes, and it's all the way in for a strike, 3-1. Get me over slider, puts the count at 3 balls, a 1 strike for Vahiva. Three balls and 1 strike here to Aloy. Brewer comes set, delivers it home. Grounded into the shortstop and through for a base hit. 1 run scores, here comes the other, and the Keys lead us back up to 5. Vahiva Aloy gets a 2 RBI single and a big 2-out base hit here in the bottom of the 8th.
Great job by Aloy, extending the inning, driving those runs in. You'd hate to leave two in scoring position this late in a ball game, but that play might have just been made by the trailing runner in Leandro Arias. He saw where that ball was coming right at him as well as right at the shortstop Hauk. He chopped his feet to get in the eyes of Hauk and then moved on. Didn't get hit by the ball because obviously that would be an out, and then it seemed like Hauk just didn't quite have a good beat on it. It skipped right past him. It looked like Arias did succeed in getting in his vision there. That's really heads-up base running and part of what's made this Keys team so dangerous.
As you talked about, Hauk really couldn't see it. It just sort of blinded him with the way the runner was going in Arias, and by the time he found it, it was under his glove. So that puts 2 runs home, and after the Cyclones got 4 runs back in the 5th inning, it's back up to a 5-run lead. And now the Keys will try and extend it further. Yasmiel Boussaint coming up. First offer inside for ball 1. So the Keys with now 4 unanswered runs since the bottom of the 5th. And again, if nothing else, it gives Braden Sloan that much more insurance going into potentially the 9th. 1-0 comes home. Called strike 1-1 at the knees. 1 ball and 1 strike to count here to Yasmiel Boussaint. So far tonight he's been walked once, but 0 for 3 otherwise. The 1-1. Boussaint takes it in for a strike, now 1-2. And Boussaint calling time for a moment of the runner on base. And the count staying at 1-2 to Yasmiel Boussaint. One ball and 2 strikes. Osprewer getting set to fire home. Pitch number 25 of the outing. Here's the 1-2. Runs high, 2-2 on a fastball at 96. Osprewer, the right-hander out of Canton, Texas. 2 years back was an undrafted free agent signing. Been a vital part of this Brooklyn bullpen all year. 2-2 the count, deuces wild, the pitch. Grounded up to shortstop. There'll be a play by Hauk. He tags second to end the inning. But a 2 RBI single for Loy makes it a 9-4 game. As we head to the 9th, Keys up 5 on the Keys Baseball Network. Top of the 9th coming up here on Masson and on the Frederick Keys Baseball Network. Gus Balo and Roman Raffelli back here with you as it's Braden Sloan to try to take this game home in the top of the 9th inning. Frederick back up by 5 runs over the Brooklyn Cyclones, the high A affiliate of the New York Mets. As Vahivo Loy's 2 RBI base knock has put the Keys back up by 5, and now Braden Sloan will try to just get the hole and get the final 3 outs here tonight. He'll face off against Trace Wohoit, Sam Biller, and Jonathan Henriquez. Trace Wohoit will step back in, who's 0 for 3 tonight. On the way, the first offer to Wohoit. Swung on a miss, 0-1. Braden Sloan, the left-hander out of TCU from last year. A 17th round draft choice by the Orioles a year ago. Here's the 0-1. In the air, but caught by Aloy. An out to Aloy gets him the first out of the 9th as it's a line out to short, and Trace Wohoit is retired.
Sloan has been pretty accustomed to being a back-end kind of guy for the Keys this season. A 1.17 ERA, a 1.48 ERA with the Keys, and 24 and now 2/3 innings of work has given up just 4 earned runs while striking out 35, and opponent batting average against of just 111.
First offer this time in for a count strike to the 9-hole batter, Sam Biller. And the count now runs to 0-1. No balls and 1 strike on the way. The rocket fire. Ground ball hits the left side, playing it as Aloy in the backhand. He goes on to first, the throw in time, and it's 2 outs in the 9th. So it brings up 2 outs in the 9th inning, and it brings up Jonathan Henriquez.
Stepping up to the plate, number 23, Jonathan
Jonathan Enriquez, potentially the last chance here for the Cyclones, as they are 1 out away from falling to the keys for the first time at Nimio Field. Sloan will set in from the belt and coming to the line to Enriquez. Here comes the first offer. Swung on a miss, 0-1. He has an ERA of 1.48 on the year, with a record of 2-0. Two balls and no strikes, and the rocket fire comes outside of the count, 1-1. One ball and one strike to Enriquez. Going to double in the first and a single in the third, but since then is 0 for 2. 1-1. Outside, 2-1. Two balls and one strike. Here's the 2-1. Swung on a miss, 2-2, and they're down to their final strike.
Yeah, really good work from Sloan here. He's got a fantastic breaking ball out of that left hand. It's really tough to pick up and also even tougher to hit.
Deuces wild on the top of the ninth. The 2-2 from Sloan. Ground ball back to Sloan. He takes it himself, and that's a Keys win. A grounder ends the night. 1-2 free fashion. The Keys win it. You can shake your keys tonight as Frederick wins it 9-4.
Great way to slam the door there from Sloan. Makes his own play, fields his position, but a great win for the Keys. Losers of 3 consecutive coming into today, but they were done with that losing streak. They got on the board early. They score in 7 of 8 innings. That's consistent offense, and consistent offense is hard to beat. A 9 spot